Section 11. The Poppy Girl. So then, it is your belief that the other Chaldeans will next show themselves at the prison. They will do this, you believe, even though their most crucial asset, the Shadow Border, is already on its way to Shanyang.
I do. Difficult as it may be to believe, they are quite thoroughly shackled by their absurd morality. If forced to choose between people and assets, they will always ignore the big picture in favor of life, even if it creates more danger for them. They're the very incarnation of foolishness.
Well, if you feel that you are certain, we will not attempt to dissuade you. We do not know what trick they have employed to elude our sight, but we have received reports of figures matching their description fighting near Angkong. Very well. We will permit you to remain at that facility. You may even command the guards should the need arise. However, Kwaiji Zero will not go with you. We are assigning him to guard Shanyang as the Shadow Border is our top priority.
I understand.
Ah, yes. We agreed to call him Zhang Yu around you, didn't we?
Surely you jest, your Imperial Majesty. Lord Zhang Yu has no concern for what he is called whatsoever.
If your prediction turns out to be correct, this will be a prime opportunity to restore your honor. See that you claim your revenge.
I will, your Imperial Majesty. You seem displeased, Saber.
I don't like having Koyenskaya and the Chaldeans being kept prisoner in the same facility.
True. In our world, keeping enemy prisoners separate is only sensible in warfare. For one thing, you don't want to risk them working together to escape. But Qin Shi Huang is more concerned about keeping all the Empire's enemies in one place than the threat of them banding together. If you think of your enemies as carriers of a disease, it makes sense to keep them isolated in a single location. Especially since that way the Emperor can wipe them all out at once if necessary.
Then, if the prisoners decide to revolt, does that mean the Emperor will drop another star?
I wouldn't be surprised. If it came to cases, the Emperor would not hesitate.
The Emperor frightens me. There is something terrifying about the way the Emperor views their subjects, and the manner of Qin Shi Huang's rule now that they are immortal. Master, can I ask you what you think about this Lostbelt's China? About the state of this eternal empire?
Who cares about human society? They can all wipe each other out for all I care. They founded and destroyed more civilizations than I can count, and never once did they learn anything from it. They're just hairless monkeys who decided they were the rulers of this planet after they spread like a plague to cover its surface. I couldn't possibly care less what happens to them. They would be doing the world a favor by dying out.
She's got a point there. We are all returning to Monkey.
I'm sorry. You used to have your own nation and people to protect, didn't you?
Please, pay me no heed. You have every right to be angry.
You must think I'm a horrible person. You're an amazing heroic spirit, and I'm just using you to satisfy my own selfish desires.
Not at all. Emotions are looked down upon only because they are fleeting and fickle. But your feelings have not wavered one bit, even across time itself. You have conviction, not emotion. And there is no greater honor for a warrior than in fighting for his master's convictions.
Saber.
As such, I have no regrets whatsoever about wielding my sword as your servant.
Thank you, Saber. I don't deserve a servant like you.
pat Landling's head.
That must be the prison.
Whoa! Whoa!
I can't believe we made it this close without being seen. These bounded field devices are amazing. I'm afraid we can't get any closer, though. This won't be enough to let us make our way inside.
Then our only choice is the tried and true method of distraction. Lady Jinkei is an assassin. As such, she should be better at sneaking around than anyone else here, no?
And I am a master of bringing the ruckus. Nah!
You are quite the strategist. You came up with a plan before our master even had a chance to fret.
Oh, that's nothing. I'm quite used to explaining what needs to be done before my lord begins panicking.
Our whole army was chock full of soldiers who liked to leap before they looked.
That sounds like a huge headache.
Hardly. I would simply verbally whip them up into a frenzy whenever necessary, and employ the odd harebrained scheme to help my lord learn a lesson when he was being foolish. Those battlefields were wonderfully fulfilling, with no end of stimulation.
Foe!
Anyway, this does seem like the best plan for the situation. If Gouda, Mash, and Lou... whoever this walking storm of destruction is, makes a big enough commotion at the front gate, I can slip in undetected and meet up with Da Vinci and the others. It'd be great if I could capture Koyanskaya too, but that'll depend on how much time you're able to buy me.
Leave it to me! I'll show you the power of a steed who can run 1,000 li without breaking a sweat.
Lord Redhair Lu Bu, I trust this goes without saying, but just to be sure, don't run too far. If I think you're getting too far away, I won't hesitate to take a shot at you. Is that clear?
So, you'll let me know if I get too close to leaving the strategic zone? That sounds great!
At any rate, I'm all set for combat.
Let's do this!
Oh, it sounds like they're here. Just listen to all that noise.
Mr. Gouda would never charge in headlong without good cause. Which must mean...
Sorry we took so long, everyone. Are you okay?
While I wish I could toast our reunion, I'm afraid that we'll have to wait. How is Gordolf doing?
I found an infirmary on the way, so I made sure to grab a few bags of glucose strip and an IV catheter. Alright, Jinkei! Way to stay on top of things.
Excellent. Then I believe now is the time for us to strike back ourselves. We can't put everything on Mr. Gouda's shoulders, after all.
Listen, I can hear something going on in the prison now.
It seems Jinkei has successfully rendezvoused with the others. They must have wasted no time setting up explosives. I can hear some lovely explosions taking place even as we speak.
Now that's what I'm talking about. I can feel my warrior's blood dancing in excitement. Foe!
Come on, Master, we can't be left behind.
You said it. Let's keep pounding that front gate.
So this goes here, and... Oh?
How goes the Shadow Borders analysis, Your Imperial Majesty?
What a fascinating device, truly fascinating. And yet, it plagues us with so many doubts. We understand the principles in its operating structure, but we cannot for the life of us understand why they would make it so small. Our engineering could produce something of equal capability, but it would be a gargantuan vessel. We can only wonder as to why they would devote so much effort to making it so very compact. The electronics alone are positively maddening. We feel as if we are dissecting a flea. We can barely remember the last time we were taxed to our limits as we are now.
I see. Miniaturization, huh?
We can even see where they chose to compromise on performance in exchange for efficiency. Perhaps they were simply starved for resources? Even if that were so, why would they use silicone of all things? What is wrong with vacuum tubes? What is it, Hanshin?
Oh, well, you just got me thinking. If these people can make electronic devices that small, maybe that means they could also build communications devices small enough that they could secret away on their person, too.
I shall arrange for more guards to be dispatched to the Yankang prison right now.
Do not bother. It is already too late. We just received word that hostilities are already underway. Just what sort of world do these people come from? Can you imagine it? Ordinary people talking amongst themselves across vast distances without relying on us or asking our permission. This could spread Confucianism like wildfire. We would not be able to stomp it out at its source.
They truly do bring disaster wherever they go.
We must wipe them out. Immediately. They are like an airborne disease. We cannot let them bring further taint to the Empire.
Hi! Have you been, Kuda? Did you miss me?
Yes, Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, I'm so glad you're all okay. We sure are. And we brought along a special guest.
Sulky glare. Koyanskaya, my old friend. Come, give us a hug.
Fo.
Easy, folk. Please calm down. Well, as humiliating as this may be, I have to admit that I really can't stick around here. So I suppose I have no choice but to cooperate.
Naturally, I had her promise to provide an antidote in exchange for our help. I trust you will fulfill your end of the bargain, Koyanskaya.
What's done is done. Unlike you humans, I make a point to always keep my word. There is no sense sticking around here any longer. Let's go.
You will not be going anywhere. I would hope you know better than to underestimate us by now.
Prince of Lanling.
You are surrounded. This time we are going to finish you off. Yes, I can see you are deadly serious about that. Be wary, Master. The enemy was careful to wait until we were all gathered together before surrounding us. As he says, he is very much determined to emerge victorious.
It almost feels like this whole thing might have been a trap. Are you serious? Did you really come all the way here to rescue your allies armed only with pluck?
Hey, come on, it wasn't all pluck, just mostly.
I had forgotten what you all were like. I should have known better than to count on Caldia for help. Alright, I see how it is. This is no time to be worrying about appearances, so I'd better pitch in to help as well.
You would go over to the enemy's side so easily just to save your own skin, alter ego.
Well, yeah. If Qin Shi Huang's punishment wasn't reason enough, your own master just severed ties with me, remember? Besides, it's just like I told her. In this world, you're either a client or a product. And right now, regardless of the circumstances that brought us here, Caldia is a valued client. As such, I have no problem whatsoever listing yesterday's client as today's featured product. Yikes! Remind me not to give her any personal information, not so much as my full name. Besides, isn't it the occasional face turn like this sort of dramatic? Is she friend, or is she foe? What could the mysterious yet beautiful Kayanskaya's true objective possibly be?
Foe, dying of four.
Now then, allow me to present one of my very best products. A walking disaster from a very different path than proper human history. This rare breed is imported directly from a world of snow and undying fire. Introducing one of 9 Fox Foundation's latest and greatest, a Jotun straight from the land of frost giants.
Well now, so she can summon a familiar so large and powerful merely by tearing off a bit of her hair and blowing on it.
What the? A giant? How the hell did a giant get here?
Alright, Claudia, go ahead and let him handle the little guys while you focus on the servants. Prince of Lanling would usually be quite a formidable foe, but luckily for you, his sorry excuse for a master should make him considerably easier to defeat.
Silence, Foxwoman! You know nothing about her! Akuta keeps using command spells like there's no tomorrow. This girl is deadly serious about finishing us off.
True. Unfortunately for her, that's also going to be her downfall. Since she's not used to providing rear support, it couldn't be more obvious where she's providing it from. And boom!
Gah! Master!
Just a quick little booby trap I whipped up from one I picked up around here. Do you like it?
What a wicked fox! I never seen such lovely skills and looks in one evil package before.
Curse you, Foxwoman! Oh crap, that didn't finish her off. Gouda, hold Prince of Lanling off. Whatever you do, don't let him get to his master.
Master!
I couldn't stop him. Saber.
I'm here, Master!
Well, now we're screwed. Come on, everyone, let's run for it. Huh? But why? There's no way Akuta can keep fighting with a fatal wound like that, right? Oh, right. You still don't know what she really is, do you? Look, let me give you some honest advice for once. Leave the servant alone and get out of here while you still can. Lanling!
Master, now that things have come to this, there is no other choice. I beg of you, sacrifice me to save yourself.
No, that's the one thing that I'll never...
I am sure you dislike the idea. Feeding on others is the very thing you loathe humans for, after all. But if ever there was a time to swallow your pride and do what must be done to survive, it is now. For at long last you have finally been reunited with your beloved. Think back to all those many years you spent grieving in solitude and isolation.
Lanling...
You must survive, my master. This time, you and Zhang Yu will live happily together. This time you will share in each other's fate. What in the world is that?
Did she just eat her servant? Life absorption? Magical energy metabolization? No way, she couldn't possibly pull that off unless she was a blood-sucking kin or something. No, wait, even if she was, this is a servant she's eating. To swallow an entire heroic spirit class spirit core, she'd have to be a true ancestor, or... Wait, does this mean Okuta Hinako is actually... Are you sure you want it to go this way?
All I ask, Master, is that you answer one last question. You must have come to know thousands, if not millions of great heroes over the course of eternity. So out of all those many heroes, why did you choose to summon this lowly Gao Changgung as your servant?
You once had the courage to speak to me without fear. Even all these years later, that memory still warms my heart.
Ah, I could ask for no greater honor. Thank you, my master. You, Mei Ren.
You, Mei Ren? Did he just say you, Mei Ren? Oh, come on, is that really a surprise at this point? It's not as though she's been shy about showing her affection for Zhang Yu. A detective of your supposed caliber should have seen her for who she really is a long time ago. But then again, considering how much trouble you lot have with heroic spirits and race shifting and whatnot, I suppose the idea that a genuine article who's been alive for nearly 2,000 years was hiding under your noses all that time must have been unthinkable. Not even the other cryptors had any idea. The only ones who knew the truth were myself and...
It must be difficult for you to understand. For you, eternal youth and beauty are nothing more than a curse. I only wish I could convey to you how comforting it is for those of us doomed to rot and fade away. To know there is someone out there whose beauty will remain pristine forever.
I had hoped to finish you all off in a manner befitting of human, since I've been presenting myself as one all this time. But now that you've forced my hand, I can no longer afford to be magnanimous. This ends now, Caldia. My curses shall obliterate you before this night is out. Well, now what? You're up against a true ancestor, and she just devoured an entire heroic spirit origin and all. And she's pissed off beyond belief. Can I just leave now, please?
Section 12, Travelers of the Century. Wait, didn't that have a different name in Japanese? Yeah, that name is translated poorly. I just looked up the Japanese title. It's Hyokudai no Kakaku. Hyokudai is more accurately translated as eternity or an era, ages long past, that kind of thing, right? So rather than Travelers of the Century, it should be Traveler of Eternity. Singular traveler, because it's about her. And, you know, eternity rather than centuries.
See, chat.
That's what happens when you hire outside help instead of Thor. Now then, it's time for us to once more initiate everyone's favorite show. Does it melt? Let's find out if a true ancestor melts, chat. Oh. Sorry, that must have been loud. Let me turn that down a tiny bit. Loud Scotties. All right, let's find out. Does a true ancestor, a vampire, melt? Let's see if we can turn her into more experience points for melt. Would you look at that? She didn't melt entirely. My goodness. The 10% chance to not crit. I'm a little upset we didn't get that crit. Turns out she doesn't melt as well as her husband does. It took a little extra doing, but she does indeed melt with enough gumption. It's a little unfortunate. I'm sorry to fail you all. If only melt was MP5.
How can she attack with such power so quickly? She should have run out of magical energy ages ago. She's not using her own magical energy at all. She's sucking up the endless supply of mana from the world itself and using it as her own. So this is what a true ancestor, an incarnated elemental, can do. I never would have thought that China had one of its own. Fighting one of them is like taking on a tsunami or a hurricane with your fists.
I'm sorry, that went right over my head. Could you dumb it down to, say, horse level?
Simply put, we've been quite thoroughly backed into a corner here.
Huh? That's bad, right?
Oh yes, if we're all going to die anyway, might I suggest you blow yourselves up so everyone except me can truly go out with a bang.
Will you two just shut up already? I don't think I can keep this up any longer, Master.
Enough playing around, Akuta. No, now that you have revealed your true form, we suppose we should no longer call you by your alias. But then, you have never given us any other name. What should we call you now?
You would call my wrath, my curses, merely playing around, O worldly king.
What else would you call this? Did you endure eternity merely so you could curse these people to death? Undying one, true one, we have too much respect for you to see you lose your way like this. Return here before you go any further. Recall the pledge you still have yet to keep, and do what must be done first.
So you do not want me to do anything unless it benefits you, is that it?
We are telling you to remember what it is you came here to do. Just what is the nature of the relationship between these two?
A pledge? Does that mean she made some other deal with Qin Shi Huang that I don't know about?
Those of us who endure eternally shall not be so swept up in fleeting emotions. You must not forget what it is you truly seek, how close you are to having it in your grasp, and what you must yet do.
All right, I understand. I shall follow your advice for now. Akuta, I mean, Yu Meiren has left the battlefield. I'm exhausted. This stuff can be such a pain. As much as I despise humans, I do have to give them credit for one thing. The weapons they make are so much easier to use. There's nothing better than something that lets you kill a bunch of humans just by pulling a trigger.
Koyunskaya, I take it you knew that Akita Hinako was actually Yu Mei-ren all along. Who's Yu Mei-ren? A notable figure from the Chu Han contention, which took place after the death of Qin Shi Huang. She was the hegemon king of Western Chu, Zhang Yu's lover, and is said to have met an untimely death in the wake of his defeat.
So then, this means that Yu Mei-ren wasn't human and that she's also been alive for thousands of years. It was shocking enough to find out that the legendary Yu Mei-ren was actually a bloodsucker, or rather a true ancestor. But then why would she bother infiltrating Chaldea and applying to be a ray shift candidate? And if that weren't enough, now she's a cryptor holed up in the Chinese Lostbelt. None of this makes any sense. True, if all you look at are the facts, the odds seem pretty long indeed. But if you trace them back to their source, the answer couldn't be simpler. This all happened because Marsbury planned for it to happen.
As I suspected. Director Marsbury Animosphere must have seemed like a good person, but at heart he was still a mage.
A mage's idea of doing good and a human's idea of doing good are very, very different. Marsbury may have been a just person, but it seems like he also managed to do good, that is, his best, as a mage. I expect that he must have been anxious. I imagine he had to wonder if ray shifting was even possible, and if it was, whether humans could actually survive the process. I would guess that's what prompted him to bring Yu Mei-ren on as a backup plan of sorts. No doubt he must have thought that even if it turned out humans couldn't withstand a ray shift, she would either survive or could be resuscitated thanks to her sturdy true ancestor body. That must be why he covered up her true identity under the name of Akita Hinako, and sent her a formal invitation to Chaldea after she had been hiding away in the margins of history for centuries. That would have been before the previous version of me was summoned to Chaldea. I do recall Akita Hinako was already part of Chaldea's staff even before Team A was formed. Marsbury must have wanted to prove the viability of ray shifting come hell or high water. Agreed. I imagine he meant to use her as a guinea pig to make the experiment work. Even if there turned out to be no mere humans who fit the bill whatsoever. But as luck would have it, not only did there turn out to be plenty of viable candidates, the demi-servant plan he had come up with to improve the odds of summoning a heroic spirit after the ray shift worked out as well. All of which meant that Marsbury no longer needed to bother giving Akita Hinako more special treatment.
She was ultimately assigned to Team A for no other reason than to fill the roster, so to speak.
Now do you understand? Your great director was hiding a true ancestor in his organization all this time. It's no wonder Chaldea came under UN scrutiny after something that shady. The fact that none of the surviving staff had any idea is just the ultra-ironic icing on the cake. Still, I'm surprised Yu Mei-ren agreed to all of that, being a true ancestor and all. Oh, that's the part you find strange? Huh? Well, I don't suppose anyone with a finite lifespan could ever really understand the psychology of a truly eternal being. So I do have to give credit to Marsbury for being able to figure out what she wanted. It couldn't have been easy for him to convince her since she really, really hates humans. At the very least, I'm sure he never offered anything as cheeky as a mink coat. I'm not sure what to make of all of this, since I really didn't know Marsbury all that well. I'm sure Romani knew him well enough that he could weigh in with something useful, but
Never mind all of that now. Come on, let's get out of here. Agreed. Now that we have made an enemy of Qin Shi Huang, lingering in one place for too long is tantamount to suicide.
Got it. Then let's keep our camouflage-bounded field up and put some distance between us and this place. Man, it really sucks that they took the border. Now we have to carry our patient on foot.
Please, no more tour. I couldn't eat another bite.
I saw something that looked like a truck in the hangar. Maybe we could use that. You mean the thing they used when they brought me here? It may be better than walking, but we'll feel every bump of the road and then some. Well, beggars can't be choosers. We'll just have to make the best of it.
I forget who this is. I think this is you.
Long, long ago, this was a beautiful place. Even today, I still remember the time when there was nothing in the sky but wind, and nothing on the ground but plants. This was in ages past, long before anyone even thought to lay claim to this planet. Before I was separated from the world, before I even had a form of my own. But my memories of what came after are all of fear, animosity, and a perverse kind of envy. You and I both look the same, which is why I don't understand. Why do you hate me so much? Why do you despise me so? You would attack me so viciously, all because I cannot die. I never asked for eternal life. I would have welcomed death. I would have liked nothing more than to fall into oblivion alongside of my beloved. True ancestor. Bloodsucker. I don't know anything about those, but that didn't stop you from deciding that's what I was. You said my inability to die made me unclean, that my inability to age made me a monster. None of you listened to what I had to say. Once you decided I was a monster, you just kept treating me like one.
I understand you hate humans. I know you want nothing to do with us. But no matter how much you may wish it were otherwise, humans will never truly leave you alone. Once they learn you exist, executors will come from far and wide to hunt you down. I cannot do anything to change that fact. As such, I cannot apologize on behalf of humanity. All I can do is give you an outlet for your resentment, to keep my head bowed no matter what manner of abuse you heap upon it. It is with that in mind that I would like to make you a proposal, even if you think me shameless for doing so. If you wish to obtain peace and quiet, your only choice is to move yourself somewhere outside the bounds of human activity. Mankind has grown far too numerous. Indeed, this last century must have been a nightmare for you. They excavate mountains, chop down forests, and greedily expand their territory with no end in sight. You must have already realized that at this rate there will no longer be any safe place left for you to hide. So, speaking as one partially responsible for this state of affairs, I would like to offer you a deal. There is a small isolated community of mages in one of the most remote areas of the world. Its residents are well aware that prying into the other community members' lives is taboo. I think you would be right at home in Caldia. As long as you play along with the false identity I would prepare for you, no one will ever be the wiser. In exchange, I would like you to assist me with my search. A quest of sorts to realize my family's greatest dream. Oh yes, and I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name is Marsberry Animosphere. I hope you can see that our interests are aligned. Spirit of Gaia, as one of the last few flowers of the moon left on Earth. I would love to have your help in making both our dreams come true. True human, Yu Mei Ren.
I knew he was lying. He was far from the first ghoul who had tried to uncover my secrets in their own quest for immortality. And yet, by this point, I was far too tired to tear him to pieces. I wasn't sure whether he was being truthful or not, but he was right about one thing at least. I no longer have a place in this land. There is no darkness to hide me, no light I can join. There's nowhere left for me to go. Yet even so, I can still feel the grip of his despair over my fate, coiling around my heart. Ah, you, my you, what will your fate be? That's right, I seek an end to eternity, a place where I can hold my head high and declare that I have gone as far as I can. My sole wish, my one final request, is that I may tell my dearly departed that he no longer need weep for me.
Awaken Fairy. The time has come to return to reality. It has been 5 months since your arrival. We have now scanned your entire body 48 times in total. Our analysis is complete. Every last one of your body's secrets has been recorded within our memory circuits. We have at last learned the secrets of the Genren's immortality. You did well, Fairy. Or perhaps we should continue to call you Akuta Hinako.
You may call me whatever you wish, Your Imperial Majesty.
You may have anything you like as a reward. Or is he alone still enough as you initially requested?
He is. I desire nothing else.
Then, as per the terms of our agreement, we hereby bequeath custody of Kwaiji Zero to you. You have served us faithfully for centuries, our very first mechanical retainer. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. It is with a heavy heart that I take your leave for the last time.
Zhang Yu, We do not know what sort of name our mechanical retainer may have made for himself in your history. But was this Zhang Yu person worthy of being entrusted with your mystics, Shenren?
I could ask much the same of you, Your Imperial Majesty. Why would you need to study me now, when you have long possessed the Fusang tree itself?
True, we did learn the mystics of life through our obtainment of the Fusang tree. But we never came across a single sage or fairy in all the time we spent exploring their lands. You are the first genuine fairy we have ever laid eyes on, Akuta Hinako.
I see.
At any rate, this fulfills the final part of our contract. So tell us, what will you do now?
If possible, I would like to stay in a remote part of your land and live out my days in peace.
How modest of you. But will Caldia let you do that?
The Caldians have already incurred your wrath. There is no need to dirty my hands further. It's only a matter of time now before one of your valiant Mount Li warriors presents you with their heads.
Ah, yes, we see. You do not want Zhang Yu to see you getting rough, so to speak. Very well. We prefer this mild-mannered act to the true colors you displayed at Ankang anyway. However, there is one thing we must ask you before you leave our service. Is this world going to perish?
At this point, I can no longer tell which will emerge triumphant. The will of this world to survive, or the will that would see this world destroyed. All I can truthfully say is that I couldn't possibly care less.
A good answer. We know now that if nothing else, you will never oppose us.
Now then, if you'll excuse me.
Are you sure about this, Your Imperial Majesty? I believe that she still knows more about the monsters that have invaded us than she is letting on.
Yes, we are sure she does.
I was shaken when she said she did not care for this if this world lived or died, despite saying that she would stay.
She is a Genren, a true human, the only one in this world who is on par with our royal personage. Had she voiced her intent to do something along the lines of protecting the world, then our wrath would have been swift and merciless. That would indicate her desire to fight us for this world, after all this time we have spent protecting it. But that is not what she said. Indeed, she showed she has no attachment to this world whatsoever. In consequence, she can coexist with us as we rule. For there can only be one human who controls the world in its entirety.
Indeed, Your Imperial Majesty. It is just as you say.
Having two or more humans exist inevitably leads to quarreling, so this cannot be permitted. As this world's only human, we shall guide the common people with our love. All they need concern themselves with is tending their land, filling their bellies, sleeping, and reproducing. Why, what could be more peaceful?
You've got her hands behind her back. Good. And make sure that wire is nice and tight, and don't forget the shackles. Foe! Foe!
Oh, come on, is this really necessary? May I remind you, I just helped save your lives back there. I can't believe a little glucose drip is all it took to get Gordy up and running again. It really goes to show what a, unique person Mr. Gordolf is, doesn't it, Senpai?
Foe! Foe! Foe!
I see the foe's really going to town on Koyanskaya's head.
Foe! 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 I understand how you feel all too well, Tiny. In fact, I can no longer restrain myself either. Accursed wench! Now you're wearing a Chinese dress of all things. Your wiles won't work on me, Koyanskaya. You won't ever fool me again. Now, what shall I do with you?
Yeah! I can't believe I've been captured by such a brute. Whatever will become of me now? He must have such atrocities in mind as to put Qin Shi Huang's punishment to shame. A veritable smorgasbord of torture the likes of which has never been witnessed in all of human history. No doubt he's going to carnally humiliate me in unspeakable ways after keeping me caged like a wild animal. I'm so scared.
Smorgasbord? Carnally humiliate? What? I mean, yes, I'm ruthless, but I'd never go that far. Foe, 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 foe.
All right, that's enough of that. Remember, your and Gouda's lives are still on the line here, Gordy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Where is the antidote for the poison you used on me and Gouda? The one you promised to hand over in exchange for our help. I'll even spare you the shackles. Go on then, produce the antidote from that bountiful bosom of yours. Don't think I don't know how sexy your cleavage looks in that Chinese dress. Now hand over the antidote and make the hopes and dreams of every red-blooded male come true.
Of course, I'll keep my end of the bargain. Here you go. Just one bottle, that's it. That's right, a single dose is all I have. Oh, and do be warned, sharing it between you will just make it useless. What are you trying to pull?
Foe, foe.
Oh, come on now, think about it. Would I really go to the trouble of preparing an antidote when the whole point of the poison was to kill my target? I just brought along a single dose for insurance in case I ended up taking the poison myself by mistake. That's the one and only contingency I prepared for. And now, as I promised, I've handed over that single dose of contingency antidote to all of you. Whatever happens next is out of my hands. I wonder which one will get to take it. His Excellency, the Great Gordolf, or Caldia's one and only master. And just so you know, Gouda, you don't have much time left either. You might not be feeling too bad thanks to Mesh's protection, but make no mistake, the poison is doing its job. Shan Shui Ming Mai dries you out from the inside. You only have a few days left to live at best.
I had no idea. I thought I was impervious. Ellipses.
Senpai. As much as it sucks, I think we have to put our personal feelings aside in favor of the larger picture. Gouda, I suggest we...
Gouda! I challenge you to a game of rock, paper, scissors!
Huh?
Only one of us will go on living. That means this is a clash between our wills to survive. And when the stakes are this high, rock, paper, scissors is the only truly impartial judge.
Look at him, he's so serious.
Well, normally I would prefer a coin toss, but that would give me an unfair advantage, so rock, paper, scissors it is.
Mr. Gordolf, are you really sure you want to settle this like that?
It's alright, Mash. If they are content to make a decision this way, it's not our place to interfere.
Just you, me, and whatever hand we choose to play. A fair fight if ever there was one. What do you say, young man?
Alright, let's do it.
Very well. I'm glad you're being such a good sport about this. Win or lose, no hard feelings, okay?
Just so you know, Gordolf, I'm gonna throw scissors.
That includes having one of your servants take it by force or other unbecoming chicanery.
Foe.
All right, let's do this. Rock, paper.
I'm going to use scissors, by the way.
Are you mad? You're supposed to use paper here. I said I would use rocks, so I was sure you would use paper in response. All I had to do was use scissors, and this would all be over. Can't you see that?
Gordy, that's not really the issue here. Also, Gouda, I think we need to have a little talk later. Were you trying to lose on purpose?
Whether he was or not, Mr. Gordolf made the challenge for this particular duel. Tell us, Mr. Gordolf, what were you thinking when you used scissors after declaring you would use rock?
What was I thinking? I was thinking I'd do whatever it takes to survive. That's what I was thinking. Go ahead and call me whatever you want. Smart, wise, dependable. I'll take any criticism you throw at me. But I don't want to die.
Good grief. Hey, Gouda. It's been a good show and all, but I think it's time we got this over with, don't you?
Alright, go ahead.
What? Hey, what's the meaning of this full Nelson, Jinkei?
Okay, Gordy, open wide.
What are you? Hey, that medicine.
There you go, down the hatch.
Are you nuts? Why did you make me swallow it? That was the only antidote we had. Now what are you going to do?
I wasn't just gonna let you die. After all, I wouldn't even be here now if not for you.
That's right. You only survived because Director Gordolf ate half of that cake. If you had eaten the whole thing, you would have died on the spot.
Well, the director never said a word about that, so... Indeed. Whatever the circumstances may have been, the end result is that Gordolf did save Gouda's life. And despite being well aware of that, he has not so much as mentioned it all this time. No doubt he decided it would be unfair to hold that over Mr. Gouda's head given how he was about to head off into battle.
Well, I don't know if I'd put it quite that way.
So now we're even.
You fool! Where do you get off being so decent at such a young age? But very well. This is of course merely a matter of priorities. There can be no team without its leader. Now that I'm fully back in action, all of our further plans are guaranteed to succeed.
What a joke. How utterly revolting. Maybe I'll just gobble you up from the head down.
Oh, it seems we have a lady here who can't quite contain her murderous rage.
Who, me? Why, don't be silly. This has all been a hugely entertaining farce. There's nothing quite like humans, is there? I'm so touched I feel as though my heart might just burst.
Foe!
I am afraid you have grossly underestimated us if you thought this little performance of yours would hide the truth. That medicine you handed over is not the only means of neutralizing the poison, is it?
Oh, and what are you basing that oh-so-hopeful assertion on, might I ask?
That you chose to come to this particular Lostbelt in the first place. You made sure to wait until the time was right before you went about poisoning Mr. Gouda. Were your poison truly incurable, you would only need to flee once the deed was done. As long as you had managed to cover your tracks, you could escape without leaving a trace. And yet, by the time we had arrived in this Lostbelt, you were already here. Now, why would you do something so foolish? Why, the answer is simple. Because there is something in this Lostbelt you needed to keep away from us. And what else could that be but a way to cure the poison you used?
Ugh. I can't stand men who have nothing more to offer than their minds. I imagine you must have heard that from Irene Adler a lot too, didn't you?
I will thank you not to draw comparisons between her and an agent of pure evil such as yourself.
Foe!
Now then, as we can see that Ms. Koyanskaya's purpose in coming here was to protect it, we must simply ask ourselves what this cure might be. It would have to be something already lost in proper human history, as well as something unattainable in any other Lostbelt, which leaves...
Aha! The Fusang tree!
Quite so. Though there are many things unique to this Lostbelt, the Fusang tree is the only thing I can think of that would be impossible to obtain elsewhere. As the key to the Sage World's mystics, we know that it has no end of biochemical applications, as Qin Shi Huang has so aptly demonstrated. I see no other magecraft system that could possibly be used to refine to such a strange and complex poison.
Well, I suppose there's no point in playing dumb any longer. Yes, you're right. That poison was derived from the Fusang tree. The substance made by distilling its roots with yin energy is called Shan Shui Mingmai, or Immortal Decline. And the one made by decocting its leaf with yang energy is called Shan Huo Mingmai, or Immortal Lifeline. Either way, whether you're making poison or antidote, you need something from the Fusang tree. Of course, you could always make an antidote without the Fusang tree as long as you could extract something with the same components. But we all know proper human history lost those kinds of mystics long ago, don't we? Which means the antidote I had on me was your one and only hope. Given that I held Gouda's life in my hands, I did consider making him my slave and forcing him to do my bidding.
We missed out on that? Damn it. I mean, good thing that didn't happen.
But I just couldn't get Akata's report out of my head. If only I had never heard her mention that there was a Lost Belt, where the Fusang tree remained alive and in human custody.
So, once you knew, you felt you had no choice but to go and guard it. You must be quite the worrywart yourself.
I prefer to think of it as knowing when to hedge my bets.
Whatever you choose to call it, your instincts help us out considerably for once. Once we obtain the Fusang tree for ourselves, we can cure Mr. Gouda's poison, correct?
Theoretically, yes. But to actually do that, you would have to make your way to Shanyang, where the Emperor is. And you'd have to be insane to do that, wouldn't you? Hey, we're gonna have to face off with Qin Shi Huang eventually, especially now that the Emperor is trying to wipe us out for being Confucians. Besides, we can't just leave this Lost Belt until we find the Tree of Emptiness and chop it down.
The hidden Tree of Emptiness. Well, I suppose it all boils down to the same thing. At any rate, curing Mr. Gouda's poison remains our top priority. Can I assume our next destination to be Shanyang then, Director?
Yes, of course. After all, we, do need to get our hands on that antidote at all costs. As Codia's director, I'm personally responsible for the lives of my staff, and that includes Gouda. I certainly can't afford to go around dying first.
Well said, Director.
Foe! Don't you worry, my boy. We'll find a way to save you. You just see if we don't. You hang in there and focus on defeating Qin Shi Huang.
I'm so relieved. I know we're not out of the woods yet, but at least this takes care of one big problem.
Yeah.
It's great to finally see Director Gordolf back to his old self again, isn't it, Senpai?
Section 13, Portrait of a Demon King. Shit, I don't know who this is. I'm gonna say it's you.
He was bewildered. It had been over 2,000 years since its activation. He had devoted every ounce of his being to fulfilling the duties given him. Some of these duties may have been difficult, even dangerous, but he always had purpose. There was never any doubt about why he was made or what he was meant to do.
Oh, nope. It's not you. I guess this might be Zhang Yu then. Okay. Time to do the exact opposite voice. Sorry about that.
But now, this sage woman who claimed to have come from another world with her different history was... Are you my new lord?
No, it's not like that. The lord you swore loyalty to is the law that maintains peace in this world. Is that not how you were designed?
It is.
Well, that's not what I am. All I ask is that you think of me as a companion, and that you call me simply by my name, you.
You. You offered everything you possessed to Heavenly Emperor in exchange for my custody. And all you want now is to live out your days with me.
Yes, that is my greatest desire. That has been my sole hope and prayer over the last 2,000 years.
He could not understand. What could this immortal Zhenren who claimed to have been What could this immortal Zhenren who claimed to have borne witness to a different world possibly want from the being she called Zhang Yu? Without further information or context, he could only stand by in bewilderment. So to remedy this confusion, he required answers. Answers he could only obtain from this being who called herself Yu. First of all, who is this Zhang Yu you speak of? What did I, Kuaiji Zero, do in your history?
Good question. Knowing you, I am sure you will understand. Surely you can hypothesize alternative scenarios based on different conditions, just like the Chaldeans could.
Correct. That is one of my most basic operations. Kuaiji 0, the first mechanical man Qin Shi Huang ever made by recreating Shang Dynasty Baobei. His core functionality lay in predictive calculation. By observing and analyzing every iota of data about his surroundings, he could predict likely cause and effect relations to see into the near future. This ability was deemed essential for spreading Qin Shi Huang's eternal regime far and wide. For the moment, let us further assume this ruler is, in fact, Qin Shi Huang. You said that in your history I was activated by a rebel who was fighting against the Empire.
That's right. But the man who meant to use you, Zhang Lang, fell before his ambitions could be realized. And you were left to fend for yourself in a chaotic world under the name Zhang Yu. If you were in such a situation, what do you think you would do?
What would this Zhang Yu version of him do under such circumstances? He should use his abilities to fulfill his designer's purpose for him and help bring about peace. Qin Shi Huang, after completing Kuaiji 0, was magnanimous enough not to limit Zhang Yu's potential masters to only his creator. Naturally, I would dedicate myself to my next lord, a successor who would lead China towards peace and prosperity.
But what if Qin Shi Huang's government had fallen to rot, and uprisings were breaking out all across the land? And what if the Emperor's successor lacked the courage to quell these uprisings?
Then... it was a difficult supposition, but not one without a clear answer. His purpose lay strictly in bringing about peace both swiftly and decisively. I would accept that Qin Shi Huang's time was over, and find a new ruler amidst the chaos. One who would be up to the task of uniting all of China. It was difficult to imagine such a hellish landscape from the comfort of the Empire's eternal peace. But if he had been left on his own in such a place, with only his primary programming to guide him, I am certain there would be at least one person among the rebels capable of leading this nation.
Indeed. You found such potential in Liu Bang, a man with a promising destiny, born with the dragon factor. When you first met him, he was but a lowly adulterer toiling away in the town of Pei.
It matters not from where he came, or what his circumstances may have been, once he assumes the throne and begins a new regime.
But what if his potential had yet to awaken, and he had no genuine ability to speak of? What would you do then?
Well... this made matters even more difficult. But with the facts provided, deductions can be made. From there, an answer can be reached. Then I would have to wait until his abilities awakened and he was ready to rule.
But even as you wait, the world falls further into chaos and numerous warlords battle each other for control of China. Their war rages so violently that it threatens to dispose of Liu Bang like so much trash.
In that case... what a horrific history. What cruel conditions. But it was not his place to bemoan such things. What he needed was to be flexible in his thinking. If the only goal was to bring peace to China, then it would not be necessary for the would-be conquering king to bring it about himself. All he need do in such a situation is pave as smooth a path as possible for the future king to walk. In such a vicious world, if he is to keep the king alive until the day he can properly rule, I would enter the fray myself and put an end to their conflict before it could spread further. As long as I remove any obstacles from the new king's way.
Yes, all you need do is create a situation where the new king is the only one who can rival you. From there, all those who do not wish to be governed by violent suppression would swear allegiance to the new king, thus greatly bolstering his forces.
The world cannot be left to suffer in chaos and turmoil for long. So to bring a swift end to that, Zhang Yu would merely need to become a box with which to contain all that would threaten the peace. If the people end up despising such a box, well, what does it matter? He is but a machine, a device that functions solely to bring about a predefined objective. If it would help clear the way for the new king to assume the throne.
But what if, Even after all that, Liu Bang was still too weak to prevail. What if even after you had brought the other warlords under your thumb, the new king still required more time to grow into a proper ruler? And what if, even then, he was still not capable of uniting all of China?
Such a situation would be beyond hopeless. But even that is not his concern. His only concern should be continuing his calculations until he arrives at the best, clearest answer. Then, I would have no choice but to reduce China in size to something he is capable of ruling.
That's right. That is exactly the conclusion you would arrive at. It's inevitable. And that is exactly what Zhang Yu from Proper Human History did. He thinned the population, set fire to the lands, and whittled China into a size that Liu Bang could manage.
A vivid picture forms before his mind's eye. Instead of the near future, he sees a vision of a hypothetical world as clearly as if he were there. No matter how bountiful a land may be, if it would end up falling into the hands of rebels who claim it as their own, he would have no choice but to raze it to the ground. And before those driven from their homes could wreak havoc in their quest to fill their starving bellies, he can see it now. Grass fires streaking across the land, fortresses collapsing into smoke and ash, prisoners of war buried alive so as not to waste time beheading them. All done without mercy or remorse at the hands of Zhang Yu, the Demon King. And yet, until Liu Bang, the next rightful emperor, is capable of leading and providing for his people, Zhang Yu has no choice but to cut down the land, the people, to a size within his lord's grasp. And did it work? Was peace finally achieved?
Eventually, yes. Every last one who still had the strength to resist swore fealty to Liu Bang, thanks to their fear and hatred of you. After years of war and chaos, China finally came together, united in their determination to exact vengeance upon you. This new regime came to be known as the Han Dynasty.
I see. He had no doubt such a scenario would end in disaster. The survivors who loathed him so fiercely would surely not be satisfied with a mere pound of flesh. Those who finally defeated Zhang Yu must have torn his body to shreds and fought over who would take pieces of him home as proof of their victory. And you saw all of this happen.
I did. I witnessed it all as I stood by your side. No way, is that?
While we have been analyzing the shadow border, we decided to try remodeling our tax collection vehicle in Chaldean style. We call it the Duo Duo Yishan, or More is More. Behold its vicious facade, behind which lies a mountain of otherworldly technologies designed explicitly for violence. Indeed, it is an awesome, terrifying sight.
Oh, thermic ray blasters, homing grenade launchers, a 1500 horsepower gas turbine engine. It's the stuff of dreams. Oh, this thing is too cool for words, Your Imperial Majesty.
Yes, it's beautiful. I've never seen anything more incredible in all of my life.
I don't get it.
It has been a very long time indeed since this empire has produced new weapons. But thanks to Chaldea's technology, a single night is all we needed to complete our most ruthless weapon. If the time for battle should fall upon us again, the empire will have an overwhelming advantage. Indeed, we have already ramped up their production to our factory's full capacity. We shall deploy them to the battlefront as soon as they are ready to go, where they shall swiftly rout those traitorous Chaldeans. Of course, you will be the one to lead them, Qin Liang Yu.
Oh, okay. Come on, Lady Long Yu. Let's start talking tactics. I can't wait to explore all the strategic possibilities these bad boys will open up. With amazing machines like this out in the field, I could do this, or this, and some of that, and... Are you sure we can't just stick with the White Cavalry spears?
She doesn't understand a man's romance and desire to put a lion tiger face on a tank and run people over.
Ugh, delicious! Even rations taste better than ever before now. Go on, Gouda, eat up. A good meal can help with almost any ailment.
Oh.
Hey, I'm seeing dust clouds up ahead. Something's headed this way and fast.
No ordinary cavalry would kick up clouds like that. I wonder now, what could it be?
Is that an engine? It must be an absurdly powerful engine if we can hear it all the way out there.
No, that's not it. They just didn't bother with a muffler. No reasons that I can only guess at. It's coming over the hill. What the?
Fo-fo?
Ah, yes, I have seen this sort of thing before, much as I wish I hadn't.
I don't believe it! They just straight ripped off the shadow border!
You certainly won't be buying that in a dollar store anytime soon. What a bizarre design. It reminds me a bit of the kite we used in Russia. Hey, knock off or not, I'm willing to give credit where credit is due. But this is really pushing the limits of my tolerance. If I don't turn that thing to scrap right away, I'll never be able to forgive myself for letting something so garish endure. The enemy is preparing to attack, Master. Even its cannon design is almost absurd.
I am sorry to ask this of you, Mr. Gouda. But would you be so kind as to do something about that thing for Da Vinci's peace of mind and our safety? Though not necessarily in that order.
Damn, this thing is flimsy.
Indeed, if they had copied the border's armor and its abilities to withstand a zero sail, then we would have had a truly formidable foe on our hands. But what they have done here...
How disappointing. It did have some impressive artillery, but that doesn't mean much if a good punch breaks it.
Well, let us not forget that a blow from a servant is considerably more powerful than from conventional weapons. So I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it a piece of poorly made. So it was an unmanned vehicle, just like those mechanical soldiers. Still, I'm surprised it was made quite so... roughly. Wait.
Yup, I've got a bad feeling about this too. It looks like it was designed with an emphasis on mass reproducibility rather than the performance of individual units. Which would mean...
Thomas Edison would be proud.
Ah, there's a whole bunch of them!
I knew it. They're trying to overwhelm us with sheer numbers.
Burn it! Kill it with fire! Somebody get me an anti-world noble phantasm right now! All of the hostiles have been eliminated. Man, I'm exhausted.
Whoa.
That does it! Gather up every remains, every last piece! If that's how they want to play this, I'm gonna analyze the shit out of these things and beat them at their own game.
Ah yes, Da Vinci is a force to be reckoned with when she gets fired up. I have every confidence she'll soon be unveiling a new invention the likes of which mankind has not yet dreamt of. You two aren't very good friends, aren't you?
The Duodo Yishan were completely useless.
Interesting. Perhaps we rushed them into production too quickly.
In retrospect, perhaps it would have been better not to use the same control system we used for the automatons.
Very well then, we shall simply have to remotely pilot the next version ourselves. And to further ensure their success, we will allocate 0.03% of our resources towards their production.
Oh, how reassuring!
Oh my, the Emperor really means business.
Are we sure of that?
The Three Stooges there. Alright, time to continue murdering tanks.
The enemy have really started to go on the offensive, haven't they?
Whoa.
Well, we are getting close to the capital. It is difficult to make mask our intentions at this point. No doubt all the troops that were out patrolling other areas will be called back to help defend Shanyang. This will not be an easy fight.
I'm also a little unnerved that Yu Maiden hasn't made a move since Ankang.
Agreed. I could not begin to guess what might be going through her head. But she appeared to me as though she were hesitant to make use of her powers as a true ancestor. Or, to take a different perspective, she may have refrained from attacking us. Because she knows she could use her true ancestor powers to wipe us out at her leisure. An eminently plausible theory, given how confident we know true ancestors to be. In which case, it is unlikely Yu Mei-ren will interfere with us again before the final stage of this battle. She is determined to not be seen fighting, but she is also dead set on ensuring this Lostbelt's survival. It therefore is extremely likely that she will sit back and allow Qin Shi Huang's army to try to eliminate us for the time being, and only step in as a final line of defense once we have reached the Tree of Emptiness.
That sounds about right. Lucky for us that Yu Mei-ren isn't a warmonger. That aside, we're still no closer to tracking down this Lostbelt's Tree of Emptiness. Then it's very possible that the next time we see Yu Mei-ren, she will be when we find where the tree is hidden. Looks like the chit-chat will have to wait. We've got more company.
I don't want to complain, but I'm starting to get a little worn out here.
And we certainly can't have our master running his magical circuits at full speed right now.
The hell are you guys moping around for? We're almost at the enemy's doorstep. Now's our chance to finish this. We have finally rendezvoused. I am sorry I did not get here sooner, Master.
Mordred, Neja, what's up?
What about the visitors? Don't worry, we found a perfect cave for them to hole up in, and they got enough food that they ought to be set for a while. All we need do now is defeat Qin Shi Huang before their food stores run out. It's so good to have both of you back.
Go on then, have at them! Foe!
All hostiles eliminated. I think we should be safe for now. Let us take a short break, but do not let your guard down. Say, I don't recognize you guys. Hell, I'm not even sure what the hairy one's even supposed to be.
Ah, yes, forgive me. I am Chen Gong, and this is... how do I explain?
Haha, what's to explain? You all know me, I'm Lu Bu Fengshan.
Uh-huh. How come Alter Ego Fox Bitch is hanging with us?
Huh? What does she mean, aha?
Gouda, you still have a fever. Have you not been cured of the poison?
I am afraid not. As of yet, we've only been able to treat the director. Indeed, procuring an antidote for Mr. Gouda is one of several reasons why we must make haste to Shanyang.
Well, you heard the man. Now, do you think you could maybe stop with the murderous glare? It's making me want to murder you right back. Huh, so you got no problem turning traitor on Qin Shi Huang in the cryptors, eh? I'll admit that Claudia and I will never exactly be the best of friends. But I'm willing to swallow my distaste if that pompous emperor gets some much-deserved comeuppance. That right. Well, there's no better way to stick it to an enemy than to strike while things in their own house are a total cluster.
Mordred has a lot of experience with that.
Don't worry then, traitor. I won't be kicking you out. At least not until you betray us.
Oh, man. The enemy is drawing nearer to Shanyang all the time.
They are too close now for us to employ another orbital strike without endangering the capital.
How fares the capital's defenses?
For the time being, I'm having Lady Lang Yu fortify her frontline defenses. In the meantime, I'm afraid we have no choice but to hold them off with more waves of automatons and Duo Yishan.
Your Imperial Majesty, if I may be so bold, I would ask that you give the order for the other royal guard to join the battle.
We hate to admit that matters have reached the point where that is necessary. But perhaps it would be cruel to keep you hunting dogs on your leashes when the scent of battle is so near. Very well, you have all been training your kung fu for just such an occasion. Go, show our enemy your skill.
We shall, Your Imperial Majesty.
How are the camouflage devices holding up?
I think I was able to patch them up for now, but even putting their wear and tear aside, their batteries just aren't gonna last much longer. I never planned on having to charge them outside the shadow border, you know. I think our only option here is to try and jerry-rig in energy-saving mode to make them last longer.
I see. Well, I have no doubt any modifications you can make will be of great utility. They've already held up remarkably well given their improvised nature. At any rate, it won't be long now before we reach Shanyang, and any advantage the devices may confer over long-range surveillance will be lost. However, even if we are no longer able to mask our location, we should now be close enough to the capital that we need not fear an orbital strike. Once we have rested up tonight, I believe we should make for Shanyang with all haste.
For sure. We are badly outnumbered, so if we have to end, we'd better do it quickly. How's that thing I asked you to make coming along, Da Vinci? Well, I've got it all put together for the moment. But whether it'll actually be helpful or not all depends on whether we can trust the comms protocol Koyanskaya stole. You doubt moi? However you may feel about me, I can assure NFF's products are of the highest quality. I can at least say that the data I recovered from those knockoffs seems to line up with the protocol. But I've only got my laptop here, so I really don't have what I need to test the thing. I'd say it's got about a 50-50 shot of working, if I'm being honest. Hardly my best work, you know? That's fine. If anything, I'm impressed you pulled this off with so little time to get it done. Well, of course I did. I'm a genius. You can rely on me for anything.
Da Vinci built the entire shadow border in a cave with a box of scraps.
That said, I don't know if I can encourage you to actually go through with this. In fact, I think it'd be pretty reckless if you did. Yes, it is reckless, but that kind of recklessness is pretty much why I'm here to begin with. It's what made me go down in history, and eventually led to me meeting Gouda as a heroic spirit. Alright, but make sure you talk this over with him before you go, okay? I will, don't worry. I'm not Spartacus, you know. There you are, Gouda. Jinkei, what is it? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to discuss our strategy for the upcoming battle. Between Chen Gong and Red Hair joining us, Nezha and Mordred coming back, and Koyanskaya, well, I don't know that we can really count on her in our lineup, but I don't think she'll try anything as long as Holmes and Da Vinci are around. My point is, we've got plenty of capable fighters to go around, so...
You want to go off on your own, don't you?
I guess I can't put anything past you, can I? So you want to go and defeat the Emperor, all on your own?
Fo.
You know it makes sense. It would also create a distraction while the rest of you try to find the Fusang tree. But all by yourself, that just seems...
I mean, I don't want anything to happen to you.
What, you're worried about me? Please, don't be. Worrying over me is as pointless as trying to convince Spartacus not to rebel. Jinkei, sometimes I can't help but wonder why the Counterforce gave me, of all people, a life after death. Maybe it's something to do with risking my life to take action at a time everyone else was too scared to try. If there had been someone actually worried about me, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So speaking as both a heroic spirit and your servant, I promise you don't need to worry about me. But Senpai is...
I'm not worried about Jinkei the heroic spirit. I'm worried about you.
You never do change, do you? You're right, it was silly of me to say that. I mean, telling someone as caring as you not to worry. It's as ridiculous as forbidding Spartacus from rebelling, or ordering me to come back safe.
Fo.
Alright then, let me put it to you this way. I know it's selfish of me, but please, let me do this. I can't stop thinking about the fact that I finally have another chance to face that Emperor. I came this close to assassinating him when I was alive, but I wasn't quite able to pull it off. And now with Shan Yang almost staring us in the face, I feel that failure more keenly than ever. I just can't get it out of my mind. If I take on a different mission now, I'll be so preoccupied with this that I might end up making a fatal mistake. So please, let me be your decoy. Let me draw that Emperor's gaze away from you and the others. Right now, I think that's the best thing I can do to help Chaldea.
Do you promise to come back safe?
Man, you really don't let up, do you? You're not even going to let me get a poem in. Look, I can't promise everything will be fine, Not when I'm going up against Qin Shi Huang. But I can promise to make it to the Epang Palace. Especially now that you've made sure I won't forget that look you're giving me. So make sure to find the Fusang tree and take care of that poison. After that, it'll be time for our real battle with the Cryptor, Yu Mei Ren. So let's both keep that in mind as we go our separate ways, okay?
Okay.
Gouda, we've got an emergency on our hands. Our remaining camouflage devices just broke. What?
I'm afraid we are now completely exposed. It won't be long before more enemy soldiers make their way here.
You can thank our illustrious commander tripping over the wiring for that.
Are you saying this is my fault? Who fixes delicate devices by spreading their components over the floor? Everyone knows you're supposed to do your restorations in a garage.
Fo. We can no longer hope to avoid enemy contact, so we will need to fight them off as we move. We can ill afford to stay here and exhaust ourselves fighting unending waves of enemies. Be ready to head for Shanyang at a moment's notice.
Hell yeah, now that's more like it. Gouda, Mash. We know. See you in Shanyang.
Just be careful, okay?
You too. What? Jing Kei has gone off on her own? Not a problem. We got all the ass-kicking power we need right here.
Yeah, let's carve a path right through them.
Enemy hostiles confirmed. Get ready.
The near future revealed itself before him. He could feel the looming threat of war draw near, slowly but surely, from beyond the peaceful city. He could see the palace's defenses growing more robust by the day. Even without visiting Apang Palace for himself, his predictive calculations warned him of the inevitable conflict to come and its inescapable result. Shanyang was going to fall. Even knowing that, you would still tell me not to take up arms.
Defending Shanyang is no longer your job.
But the real problem was the future that followed. Usually he could learn small details about the futures he saw, even if he couldn't always make sense of them. But now, he couldn't see anything at all, not even a vague fragment of a future possibility. It was as though several years from now, this very world would no longer even exist.
That is how it should be. Your ability to see the future has toyed with you for too long. No one should have to carry responsibility for history on their shoulders as you have. You have long since earned the right to lay down that burden.
You mourn my fate so deeply. Rather, the fate of the Zhang Yu who paved the way for this Liu Bang to follow. My place in the Empire is not one of peace. Seeing the manner in which this body has been optimized for warfare should make that clear. Yes, I was originally designed to be a civil servant, but my ability to see the near future proved to be most useful on the battlefield. When Qin Shi Huang had only just united all of China, there were still foreign nations in need of being brought to heel. I traveled to Europe, Africa, the New World, every land under the sun, all to make them part of Qin Shi Huang's territory. I must have shed more blood in the course of that conquest than this other Zhang Yu who was known as the hegemon king of Western Chu.
But here, your conquests were rightly held in high esteem, and the Empire valued you accordingly. However, in proper human history, your reputation was horrific.
Well, that is understandable. It made sense that history would view him as a horrible, bloodthirsty monster. History is the collected recollections of humanity, so it is only natural for them to view an inhuman machine in such terms. If such a device were to be mistaken for human, and its deeds recorded as such, it is no surprise that they would be feared.
Not one person in all of proper human history ever truly understood why you did what you did.
You are wrong about that, Yu. I know for a fact that there was one person who understood the hegemon king of Western Chu, your Zhang Yu. You, the one who just told me of this other version of myself. Surely you must have understood him.
Lord Zhang Yu.
Ah, now I see. At long last he saw. He had been overlooking something so terribly obvious. By always casting his gaze to the distant horizon, he had missed what was right there in front of him. There was another person there in the same time and place as Zhang Yu. Another who looked human, yet was feared and despised as inhuman. Just as Zhang Yu was feared and despised for quelling all threats to the Empire. This immortal Zhenren must have never known either understanding or acceptance. So that is why you have wandered for so long in search of me. How unspeakably tragic.
It is all in the past now. It's no more than a fleeting dream. There is no sense looking back.
From Zhang Yu's perspective, she was not one to view with suspicion, but wonder. There was neither fear nor hatred in his gaze. If anything, her way of life was something to aspire to. Something beautiful to behold. But this insight was one only he could have, and only because he was not human. To humans with short lives and limited perception, she must have seemed as terrible as a demon king. But as a pair so far removed from humanity, Zhang Yu and Yu Meiren could find solace with each other. Indeed, each was the other's perfect companion. So, the Zhang Yu in proper human history died, leaving you alone.
There was nothing either of us could do. You had a duty to fulfill, and I was given eternal life.
And yet, with his ability to see the future, Zhang Yu must have known what awaited you in his absence. He must have known she would wander for an eternity, and the hardships she would suffer in solitude. I see. Then I must have grieved for you. I must have grieved. When Dapple runs no more, what then can I do? Ah, you, my you, what will your fate be?
Section 14, Battle at Shanyang.
That must be Shanyang.
Foe!
I knew it had to be a hell of a place from the images we captured at a distance, but seeing it in person...
It is quite a peculiar city, if indeed a city it can be called.
Well, then what would you call it? Look how preposterous it is.
My concern lies in whether it fulfills the functions we typically associate with cities.
Those things packed around its perimeter must be the rockets Qin Shi Huang uses to distribute the benefactions. The Emperor's gotta have more than enough here to cover the entire planet. I guess this explains how Qin Shi Huang could rule the whole world with just this one city.
That stadium-looking thing in the center would seem to be the city's central hub.
So far as I can tell from here, there does not appear to be anything in the way of residential buildings.
Then, does that mean nobody lives in this city? That's the key question, isn't it? At least that would be what determines whether or not this is a city in the sense we usually think of them. Even if there are people living here, I have a suspicion it's far fewer than in our own cities.
Given that even the world's soldiers are robots, I have a hard time believing there is any particular need for a human labor force. There does seem to be a deal of activity taking place, so it is doubtful the city is totally uninhabited.
I think you'll find it faster to just go in and take a look for yourself. Shouldn't take long for even you lot to figure out what the culture here is like. Not that they'll be opening the gate and welcoming you with open arms anytime soon, of course.
Oh, oh!
I'm seeing new hostiles make their way towards us, but...
Indeed, these are human, not automatons.
That's the Royal Guard of Shenyang, the elite soldiers assigned to protect the Emperor even in times of peace without ever being put to sleep in Mount Li. Oh, and just so you know, they're a far, far cry from the supervisors you fought back on that farm. We've defeated the enemy troops!
Oh!
Well, now that the enemy is shedding real blood to win, we know they're finally taking us seriously.
Well, sure, now that we're this close, it's no wonder they decided to pull out all the stops. Alright, one more gate and we'll be inside Shenyang proper. Stay sharp, everyone. Damn, all this fighting's even starting to wear me out. We have still succeeded. We can now enter the city.
Do keep your guard up. I expect we will encounter even greater resistance soon.
This is Shenyang.
There do appear to be people living here, but I never expected this.
Are they playing?
They're all painting pictures, singing songs, dancing. What the hell? They don't know there's a freaking war going on in their front yards?
Fo?
And now it seems we have automaton soldiers to deal with. Ah, perhaps not. They do not seem to be particularly interested in us.
It looks like they're telling the residents to evacuate.
Hey, get out of my way! I need to finish this painting for most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor. These colors are sure to delight the emperor's senses.
And I need to sing this song about our most glorious emperor's greatest accomplishments. This melody is fit even for the emperor's divine ears.
This is what gives our lives meaning. Why would you have us leave?
Be reasonable. Remember, each and every one of your lives is truly precious to the Emperor. We can't risk putting your lives in danger. Now leave, you will be able to return soon enough.
But I haven't finished my picture.
And I haven't finished my sculpture. Heartbreaking, isn't it? The only thing they have to their names is a single bed in the basement. When they're not sleeping, they're working their fingers to the bone on monuments and murals 100 times more magnificent than anything they'll ever own.
I hesitate to call them artists, but...
Is this some kind of a bad joke? Their only subject is Qin Shi Huang. That's not art, not by a damn sight. Entertaining each other has been a key aspect of culture as long as people have existed. But here the only true person, which is to say the sole audience for entertainment, is Qin Shi Huang and Qin Shi Huang alone. And that's why the Emperor is the only subject of all the art these people create. Those who are deemed to have creative talent are gathered from countries all around the world and brought here to spend their lives creating art directly beneath the Apang Palace.
That would mean artists who wish to entertain the masses like Shakespeare, and artists who pursued the truth of the human condition like Anderson would never even be born here. Here, the very premise of culture itself could not be more different than that of proper human history.
Right you are. Certainly Qin Shi Huang loves the people of the Empire, much like an owner loves their pets. In this history, all of mankind's vile arrogance is concentrated in Qin Shi Huang. And all that remains are these lifeless, worthless excuses for pets. This whole city is basically nothing more than a giant cat cafe, only with primates instead of felines.
Whoa.
As I've said many times before, I despise humans, but that doesn't mean I enjoy seeing them as livestock. Humans are supposed to be selfish and arrogant, following their desires wherever they take them. This spectacle, where they sing the praises of life without any real worries, is an affront to us beasts. Hey, she's glaring at us.
If we don't attack first, the enemy will have the advantage. Are you sure you wish to hold back, Master? I'm sure. Let's wait for them to finish their evacuation.
I'm surprised. I thought for sure you would ambush us while we had our hands full with the evacuation.
True, this is in many respects an invasion. Our ideas of what this world should be could not possibly be more different. But we are not here to massacre your people, even if our actions ultimately lead to them ceasing to exist.
Obviously, getting these people to safety is your top priority. But you know just as well as I do that Qin Shi Huang would order you to kill them if there is even the slightest hint of suspicion that they were infected. Is that really a leader worth obeying? Yeah, you saw what that prick was willing to do to those supposedly treasured citizens. Yes, I did. My own hometown was once destroyed by a falling star just like that.
I beg your pardon?
Zhang Shanzhong seduced my neighborhood into thinking they could live better lives if they founded their own nation. Once the Emperor determined that they were no longer willing to obey, Qin Shi Huang made the decision to drop a star upon their village, wiping them all out. And did Zhang Shanzhong do anything to help them? No. He abandoned them without a second thought and wasted no time inciting people in another village to make up for the soldiers he had lost. I have nothing but pity for the people who were led astray by his empty promises. They were driven to their deaths all because they were deceived into believing such a charlatan could bring them happiness, and deluded about another way of life. None of you could know what a tragedy it is for the people of this land to be robbed of their tranquility. Had it been possible, I would have been just as happy never having taken up the spear. All I ever wanted was to live with my family, tilling our land in peace. Qin Yu. The peace we enjoy now is only made possible by keeping people's worst tendencies dormant. That is the great feat, the blessing the most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor brought to the world. I will never forgive you for trying to rouse the people from that slumber. Now repent for your selfish misdeeds, as this white ash spear pierces your throats. The enemy's on the ropes. We're almost there.
No, I doubt this will be the end of it. They are very much in this for the long haul.
Lady Qin Yu, the Royal Guard has arrived to assist you. What would you have us do?
The Royal Guard? If you're here, then who's protecting Apang Palace?
Heavenly Emperor said we were no longer needed there. The Emperor ordered us to hold this line of defense for the sake of our nation.
Your Imperial Majesty.
Please, stop this, Qin Yu. Surely a warrior of your caliber must know when she is outmatched.
Tell me, those of you who claim to be from proper human history, why do you threaten our world?
It's what we must do to save our own world.
So, you want to set the world right. That's all you Confucians ever say. How should the world be then? What is this proper world of yours like? How does your world function when everyone has their own idea of how things should be while denying all others? How many people lose their lives to the ravages of war each and every day? How many innocent lives end in senseless tragedy? Has all your bloodshed led to even one good thing in your world, or just been an excuse for the next war? We fought hard for a world without war, a world where peace could truly endure forever. My husband, my brothers, all of them gave their lives while fighting to make that dream a reality. We, the people of this empire, had to build this world on their corpses. The peace this land now enjoys was paid for with the blood of soldiers who will never be granted respite in Mount Lee. And so I will defend it at all costs. I will not let your flowery words and false promises lead me astray. I believe in our way of life, in the happiness we fought so hard to obtain. I don't need any other countries. I don't need any other version of myself. Allow me to demonstrate for you that this other me you speak of and I are nothing alike at all. Another mountain of corpses. Another ocean of blood. Every time someone waves the flag of so-called progress, that's all I ever see. I had hoped to never see this again. I wish I could have just stayed on Mount Lee, frozen in slumber. Qinlang Yu. Your proper human history terrifies me. Our world truly achieved lasting peace. It should have been the one to survive. But now it will be just another corpse you tread across on the way to your destination. Tell me, what sort of bloody future do you see past the mountain of bodies you're piling up?
Considering how many bodies it is, we should be able to see far into the future.
I guess there is no point in asking you that. The only one with that answer is the Emperor. In the end, all I ever did to bring about peace was take up my spear. Come on, Gouda. Just keep moving. Don't worry about her.
But
you don't have the time or the energy to spare on her. Remember what it is you gotta do. Let's keep moving, Master. If we're going to find out Qin Shi Huang's true intentions, why the Emperor rules this Lostbelt, this history, in this way, then our only choice is to get a real audience.
Foe.
so, the enemy has made their way into Shanyang.
I can't believe it.
Then it is time for us to face Chaldea. This is not the end. They can never hope to conquer the Empire without first conquering us. Meanwhile, you need serve as our advisors no longer. Qinlang Yu has already given everything she has. So as of this moment, we are relieving both of you of duties. You have served us well.
Your Imperial Majesty.
I'm so sorry I couldn't win this battle for you, Your Imperial Majesty. I will atone for this with my life. Stop that, Han Xin. Your loss in this battle demonstrates your loyalty towards us admirably.
What do you mean?
Tell us, Han Xin, if we had ordered you to crush Chaldea, even if it meant destroying all of Shanyang, surely you could have come up with at least a dozen viable plans. If you had been willing to stop at nothing, even the destruction of our nation in order to secure victory, then you would certainly have prevailed. Are we wrong? And yet, that was a line you would not cross. That was your limit as a general. Be honest. Did you not dream about devising strategies that would have rocked this nation to its core? I don't think that's a path that I'd want to go down. I mean, there's a good chance I still might have ended up going down it eventually, but still. Belated though this may be, we cannot help but feel a bit sorry for you. If you had ended up serving a different lord, you may have achieved even greater glory and recognition. Oh, I don't know about that. That way sounds like it would end up in a pretty painful death.
Lord Han Xin.
Well, I guess I'll be taking my leave then. You don't mind if I go by just plain old Han Xin rather than a general of the Empire from now on, do you? We do not. Captain, would you keep an eye on him in his final moments as one last favor to us?
If that is what you wish, Your Imperial Majesty, then you are certain of this.
We are. Worry not. We have this well in hand.
Very well then. If you'll excuse me, and if I may, Your Imperial Majesty, I hope you can make the most of this opportunity.
Oh yes, we expect we will finally have an opportunity to cut loose, as they say, for the first time in a very long time. All right, everyone else is gone. If you have any manners at all, show yourself. She might need a bigger knife to stab him. He's pretty big. Section 15. Humanity's Whereabouts. Well now, it would appear our suspicions about that strange Spiritron signal we detected were warranted. We take it you servant creatures are capable of moving about in your spirit forms, then? And you sent your bodyguards away anyway. Has the great Emperor gone senile in old age? Our scans did not detect any explosives. The closest thing to a weapon you appear to bear is that dagger. Tell us, how exactly do you plan to damage our holy vessel with that? I figured as long as I got close enough, the rest would work itself out. I wouldn't be an assassin if I didn't have at least that much resolve. Assassin? Ah yes, we vaguely recall seeing you somewhere before. Oh, of course. This must be one of those alternate histories. How very strange. What, you're saying you forgot what I looked like up until now? We have been governing this world for 2,263 years. Just how many attempts do you think were made on our life? Even we cannot count all the times we have been threatened for the secret to our immortality alone. Did you truly think that you were our sworn enemy? That you were somehow special among all the other would-be assassins? Well, we will say that when you came along, we were still looking for immortality in all the wrong places. Thinking back on it now, I believe you may have even done us a favor by inadvertently putting us on the right track. We should consider rewarding you for that. Oh yeah? So what? You're gonna give me a medal or something? Now that you and your companions have made it all the way to Shanyang, we will honor you with a personal condemnation of your strange history. Wait, you're gonna lecture me? Proper human history. What a pretentious name. You wear your arrogance in believing that yours is the only true course of events on your sleeve. In spite of this arrogance, you behave as if your actions are dictated by morality. Thus, we must convince you beyond all doubt which of our worlds is truly proper, as you would call it. Morality. Oh, so now you're going to tell me that this is the good, just, moral world.
Where you hold all power, where you don't even let the tiniest seed of knowledge take root, and where you casually slaughter your citizens the instant they inconvenience you. You call that a good moral world?
Absolutely. What more glorious purpose could there be for the human race?
You don't think of anyone anywhere as human except yourself.
You are quite correct. By concentrating this land's bounty to a single point, we have become the ultimate human. Has any one individual ever ascended to such heights in your so-called proper human history? Behold our great wall encircling the sky. Behold the great harvest produced by the land. Who else could ever boast such greatness? Humans in groups cannot accomplish anything. They are shackled by discord, by conflict, by contradictions. So there will be no humans, no groups. A Genren, a true human, shall have total reign over heaven and earth and unite the species.
Hey Genren, don't make me laugh. You call this bloated mechanical monstrosity of a body human?
You believe the only human body is one of flesh and blood? That one's status as a person is contingent on whether they have 2 eyes, 4 limbs, 10 fingers? Utter drivel. The true measure of a human is responsibility. It lies in bearing responsibility for this world, its skies, lands, and oceans, and the lives of all who dwell within. Can those of you from proper human history choose which species will go extinct? Can you decide the amount of coal that will pollute your atmosphere? Can you prevent the polar ice caps from melting? Were you ever once successful at controlling your endless desires? We can do all of that precisely because we are the sole arbiter of this world. Thus, we are human, for we bear all responsibility for this world on our shoulders alone.
And now you're saying this regime you've set up here has made this world complete. You really believe that?
We do.
Then you're a bigger fool than I thought. Being complete is just another way of saying done. This precious world of yours has no way forward. You're stuck with nowhere to go. Thanks to becoming a servant, I learned all sorts of things I could never have known in my own time. The future of humanity is all about possibility. I and those who know me as a heroic spirit have walked many distant worlds. You said to look at your great wall in the sky. I did. All I see is a monument to your so-called Eternal Empire's limitations. You said you built that wall in order to defend against threats from other stars. Talk about preposterous. True, they'd have no way of building something like that in proper human history's 21st century. But if they'd had the same resources at their disposal, you can bet they'd use them to explore beyond our world, not shut themselves away.
Your argument reeks of sour grapes.
I'll admit, we're off to a slower start. Your empire might well have succeeded in hurrying its evolution along quicker than proper human history. But I'll also bet your world's never produced anything quite like this before.
Witchcraft, a gotcha device.
What is this toy?
If you think it's a toy, go ahead and scan it. You love analyzing stuff, right?
What could be so impressive about a simple rectangle? What the?
It's an entire computer, and it fits in the palm of your hand. If you shrank down that absurdly large body of yours into components small enough to fit into this casing, could you even get close to this thing's performance?
But so what? We commend your efforts in packing so much functionality into such a small device. But its processing power is still barely 1/1,000,000th of our own.
Did I mention there are 4 billion just like it in proper human history?
What?
That's a personal device. Almost every human in proper human history has one.
That is absurd! It is the very height of foolishness. You hand out processing power similar to our authority to the general public. Why do something so outrageous? Without anyone mitigating their desires, it is only a matter of time until they consume every resource on the planet.
If that's all you think computers are good for, you're using yours all wrong. These things aren't generally used just as computers. Originally, they were just communication devices that were gradually redesigned with computing capability.
Communication?
You heard me. People share their opinions, pool their thoughts, and work together to achieve a common goal. This is just one more tool to make that happen. People have always wanted better ways to communicate. They've never stopped looking for ways to reach mutual understandings and prosperity. And that's how the people, no, the humans of proper human history live their lives.
Then, you are saying every one of the people in your world is a full human unto themselves.
You're right about one thing. There's no end of quarrels and disagreements. I'm sure we're a long way off from uniting everyone under shared principles and ideals. Maybe we never will. Maybe humans will drive themselves to extinction or suck the planet dry. Even so, we aren't done yet. And it's because we're still incomplete that we are always striving to go further than ever before. In our world, people are always moving forward, towards something better. They're not just stuck in one dead-end world that thinks it's a utopia.
What you claim to strive for is no more than a pipe dream. You have no assurance that you will ever truly attain what you see.
Yeah, that's right. It's a dream. It could easily fade away if we're not careful. That's why we all hope for the same thing. That humanity can reach new heights no one has ever seen. People who hold that dream become heroic spirits, and answer the summons of those who share that dream. That is what servants, the executors of the counterforce, really are. We're a sort of being that you'd never think to see in your eternal regime.
We see. So this better world of yours rests upon nothing more than a roll of the dice, as it were. Reckless. Far too reckless. You balance the fate of the world on a tightrope. One misstep could destroy all. We could never permit this.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't. That's why we find ourselves at an impasse. One of us has to die so the other can carry on guiding the Earth.
Is that so? Tell us then, how do you propose to kill us with that plain, ordinary dagger? Every one of Apang's palace's defensive armaments is already trained on your person. You will not get one step out the door before you are simply disintegrated.
You still don't get it, do you? Proper human history is light years ahead of you in terms of communications and data storage and access. And in our world, with all its conflict, any technology can be used as a weapon. Not that I'm proud of that. For example, did you know it's possible to poison a computer just by communicating with it?
What? You! In that toy!
Yes, you obviously wanted to have a lofty discussion about worldviews and philosophy, but I'm really just here to kill you. Even if I had to goad you into scanning this phone so you'd end up downloading the virus in it.
I remember now. Your name is Jing Kei.
That's right. It's been a long 2,200 years, but I'm finally going to finish this.
Well done. Well done indeed. We commend you, Jinkei. This time we will be sure to remember your name. You are the only one to make us fear for our life not once, but twice.
Man, I can't believe this. I promised Gouda I'd make it back safe and everything. I knew I never should have pushed my luck quite so far. Maybe it's just my destiny to always choke right at the very end.
You are wrong there, Jinkei. Your heroic spirit's true worth lies in dying with a smile, even as you fail at what you set out to accomplish.
Hey, you're sure the giant emperor up there isn't gonna just fall down and squish us, right?
Foe!
Now that you mention it, Qin Shi Huang has been surprisingly silent. I expected to have heard something by now.
Was Jinkei successful? I certainly hope so.
If she had been, then we should have heard back from her by now. It is unfortunate we had no choice but to let her handle the Apeng Palace on her own.
So, where should we go about looking for this Fusang tree? I'm quite certain you'll find it in the treasury, but I recommend stopping by the Ministry of Technology first, especially as it's right on your way. But if you'd rather leave that fancy car of yours behind, be my guest. Up the Shadow Border!
Well, it's no race car, but we certainly have been through a lot together. I only hope it's still in one piece.
I'm not sure. It's very possible we'll find it completely disassembled and its components scattered across the floor.
Hey, this concerns you too, Buster. Remember, we need the border if we're gonna get out of this Lostbelt. It is still in one piece! Yay! Yatta!
Foe!
Aha, now I see. Qin Shi Huang must be something of a perfectionist when it comes to puzzles.
So that's why Qin Shi Huang took it apart and put it all together again perfectly. The Emperor had to be sure of understanding its inner workings. I bet Qin Shi Huang would be great at building models. Now that we've got the border back, we can't lose. Ah, this is great. It feels just like coming home again.
It looks like there's a box here marked leftover screws.
That does it. Qin Shi Huang is going down so hard.
She put the glasses on. Oh man, she's breaking out her glasses. She must really mean business.
Unfortunately, time's not on our side right now, so I'll have to do a full inspection and overhaul later. Now, let's get out of here. As long as the engine still works, we should be good to go.
Huh, so you're the Chaldeans. This is a surprise. I expected a huge pack of muscular brutes. I never imagined a brat, a little girl, and a bunch of scrawny weaklings.
Oh, if it isn't Han Xin. Long time no see. Han Xin? As in, one of the Han Dynasty's 3 greatest heroes.
So, in this Lostbelt, he ended up serving the Qin Empire. Oh, I don't work for the Emperor anymore. In fact, I was just relieved of duty. There's no reason for us to fight. Did you really think I was gonna just stand by and watch while you rode off into the sunset?
Lord Chengong, that smile.
Indeed, that's the same look Lord Lubu used to have back when we were serving under him.
I can practically smell the blood on you, you freaking creeper.
I just want to wage war. What's it matter if there's a reason for it? Not to mention, I've got a lot of help here, and none of them's ready to admit defeat. So come on, warriors of proper human history. Let's do this thing. You, us, no restrictions, no holding back. Just good old war for war's sake. There's nothing more exciting than going up against impossibly strong enemies. I can't wait. I was unaware Mount Lee had generals like this slumbering there as well.
And here Qin Long Yu only ever fought to preserve peace.
Lady Long Yu? Oh, sure, she was great. I love that whole pure and innocent thing. That shine wasn't gonna rub off after just being revived 2 or 3 times. Me, on the other hand, I've been waging wars for the Emperor since before that mechanical body. I crushed India, Egypt, Rome. I never saw the years of peace between. I was always kept on ice for those.
Yeah, I bet you were. You're a freaking psycho. Nothing you do in peacetime but cause trouble.
Everlasting peace is just a way of saying there's no more enemies to conquer. So I'm awfully glad you guys showed up. The last time I went back to Mount Lee after I'd crushed the Aztecs, I didn't think I'd ever get to wake up again. Now, let me see what sort of messed up killing techniques you guys came up with in your disordered world where our empire never existed. Yes, yes, yes! This is awesome! I love a fight to the death. There's nothing better than war.
I can't believe it. These are the same soldiers we fought before. How can they be this much stronger just from a change in commander? Yeah, I hear ya. Been a long time since I was up against a general who could make your blood run cold.
Monsters such as he are not unheard of in times of war. That said, I think this man's strategical sensibilities may even outpace Zhuge Liang's. I'm glad to see you're enjoying yourself, Han Xin.
Oh, crap.
Oh, hello, Captain. Are you sure a hard-ass like you wants to get mixed up in a wild brawl like this?
The Emperor asked me to keep an eye on you until this was all over.
We really don't deserve such a wonderful Emperor. I can hardly believe the Emperor would care so much for a piece of trash like me.
You said it. The Emperor even told me I was free to fight all I wished, as a reward for my years of faithful service.
I see not even old age could slow you down. Well then, let's get to it, shall we? At this point, I can't think of any better way to demonstrate our loyalty to the Emperor than by going down fighting.
Heavenly Emperor has been kind enough to keep broken men like ourselves in check by allowing us to serve. Now we beasts who could never find solace in peace can finally repay that kindness.
That old man is an ordinary human. Does he truly mean to go up against servants with his bare hands?
Oh, you better believe it. Trust me, don't take your eyes off of him for a second. Even if he did catch me off guard, he still managed to stun my spirit core with one blow. That general isn't the only distinguished warrior here. That old guy's as tough as they come too. You'd better not hold back against him.
All right, let's figure out if the old man is stronger than my conglomeration of goddesses. Who would win, one old man with a really strong fist or a bunch of goddesses? Let's find out.
決めたよ。お前は我が城の影に溶けるしかなかろう。古きルーンよ。
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to everyone's favorite show, Does It Melt? Today's topic of Will It Melt? The Captain of the Guard of the Chinese Lostbelt. One Old Man Lee. Let's find out if he'll melt or not. Let's see. Based on the wind conditions, yes, this seems like a good melting. A very good melting indeed.
こともできる。どれにしようかな。
Oh boy, is he gonna melt. Alright, we're tossing the old man into the blender.
身も心も生きていた痕跡さえも溶かしてある。行くわよ。
Starting it up. Yes, yes, it looks like he's blending quite finely.
サラスバティメルトアウト。
には答えるな。
It would appear, yes, he does melt, ladies and gentlemen.
アンドゥトロワルツエトワール。
Oh.
陽に生き、陰に殺す。シェ王座。シェ。
Oh no, target focus. However, shall we survive?
こういうこともできる。
There's only one answer to this, and that's melting him again.
存分や。邪魔者にはそろそろご退場願おうかしら。言えなさい。サラスバティメルトアウト。
には答えるな。
もろいもろい。トランプ。
陰に気を見出し、陽に活路をシェ。王座。
Oh no, confusion. Now, this being said, if we don't get a lucky crit here, he may be able to take Melt herself out.
切り刻むよ。
Crit, crit, crit,
ささやか
crit, crit, crit,
見切れる。
crit!
震え、凍てつき。
What do you know, chat? It would appear the old man
諦めるこ
melts.
とは許さんぞ。
Boy, does he melt. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It would appear that, yes, the old man does melt. Yes, yes, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Let's continue. That was amazing. How in the world did he get this strong? We've neutralized the enemy fighters. Although... No, it's all right. I doubt they have the strength to even stand anymore. Man, who knew there were so many monsters in China? Can't believe these guys put up this much fight with nothing but strategy and skill. Let's hurry on. I have a feeling the Fusang tree is practically around the corner.
Han Shin, are you still breathing?
Unfortunately, I never expected them to just leave without finishing us off. Don't they know that goes against the rules of war?
Still, that was a good fight. This building won't last much longer. If you can still stand, you should leave now before it collapses.
As it happens, that battle really took every last bit of energy out of me. So I was hoping I might just be able to sit here a bit longer.
I suppose we'll just have to wait then.
You misjudged how much stamina you had halfway through the fight, didn't you? Do you think you could keep up the same pace as when you were young or something?
To my shame, yes. I hate to admit that I began feeling my age at a mere 150 years old, despite the Emperor giving me personal instruction in the sage arts.
You should have come to Mount Lee when you had the chance, instead of insisting on staying on active duty. Man, I wish I could have seen you fight in your prime. I bet it was something to behold.
Well, I suppose there was a time when I went around threatening my enemies with my martial arts. My, how time truly does fly. Those days I spent alongside Heavenly Emperor were more than I could have ever asked for.
Some guys have all the luck. He looks so peaceful, you'd think he was just sleeping.
The Chaldeans will soon reach the Fusang tree in the treasury. It will mean the Empire's most valuable mystic, the cornerstone of our peaceful civilization, will fall into enemy hands. No, right now the Fusang tree is more important than even that, isn't it, you? This battle will determine the fate of the world, yet you still wish to avoid it.
I do. I understand very well how foolish that request is. But I cannot bear to see you wield your swords any longer. Indeed, that is the only thing I desire. Even if that choice should lead to obliteration.
But the world is in peril even as we speak. This empire faces an unprecedented threat to its peace. My programming would not permit me to simply stand by while this happens. Forgive me, you. I cannot change who I am.
Yes, you're right. This is who you are. In that case, I will accompany you. Please, let me stay by your side until the very end.
Section 16, The Crimson Beauty Under the Moon. Title drop. So, this is the treasury. I must say, this is even more magnificent than I was expecting.
Wow, I could spend days poring over everything in this place and if only things weren't so dire right now. This is where Qin Shi Huang keeps all the treasures of the Sage World on display. There should be bark and leaf samples from the Fusang tree right around here. Ah, there we go. I trust nobody will mind if I borrow these for a moment. Wonderful. All you need now is the right spell and you'll have an antidote in no more than 5 minutes. Well, I'd say that wraps up our business here, but while we're at it, would you like to see the real thing? Qin must have transplanted the Fusang tree to the innermost sanctum after pulling it out of the Sage World.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't interested. As a detective, I feel obligated to examine it. However,
Holmes?
I cannot help but feel a tad bit perturbed at how you seem to be leading us into a trap, Ms. Koyanskaya.
Anna, aren't we suspicious? But you might just be a teensy bit too late there. Yu Meiren, and Zhang Yu too. Great, just what we needed right now.
I had thought it might come to this.
What? You mean you knew this would happen?
Nothing so certain, to be sure. Perhaps I should say that my suspicions were right on the mark.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, she did say that the next time we saw Yu Meiren, it would almost certainly be where the Tree of Emptiness is hidden.
Wait, so then the Fusang tree is the Tree of Emptiness? When did you figure it out? Oh, I was never sure of it. I was never more than a hunch. The Tree of Emptiness's whereabouts being so unclear all this time simply made no sense. It was therefore only natural to suspect that it may be connected to this Lostbelt's most mysterious object, which also happened to be a tree.
I can't believe a disciple of the foreign god would bring the enemy straight to the Tree of Emptiness's roots. What in the world were you thinking, Koyanskaya? What was I thinking, you say? I was thinking I'm just doing my job. It's like I told you before, Yui. You can't play mind games against Claudia. They're so good with that stuff, you'd think they were just working off an answer sheet. So don't think of this as giving the tree's location away. Think of it as leading lambs to the slaughter. So as a crypter, all you have to do is play the executioner and use Mayal's power as a guillotine. Now, why don't you go ahead and get started, Miss True Ancestor of the Sage World? Mayal, so that's the third tree of emptiness's name.
Hang on. Mayal? First Orochi, then Sombrero, now Mayal. Is that what the Tree of Emptiness actually are?
You have some nerve. Did you already forget how you tried to kill me? Oh, come on now, Yu-chan. We both know you're not the type to let a little murder keep her down. Can't you just let bygones be bygones? Well, there goes our truce. I figured it was just a matter of time till this bitch backstabbed us. Check the fine print before you go around flinging baseless accusations. Oh right, we didn't put it in writing, did we? I'll still make an antidote. I make it a point of professional pride to always fulfill my obligations. So, once Gura is good and dead, I'll be sure to leave it on his grave along with some lovely flowers.
Foe! Foe! Whatever that fox may be planning, the fact remains that you Chaldeans are the source of this disturbance. Now that we face each other once again, I will use all the power at my disposal to stop you. Is that all right, you?
Yes, Lord Xiangyu. Here they come, Master!
Alright, time for a true fight. Is this the hard fight? This is the hard fight. Every other fight prior to this is easy. The fights after this will be pretty easy, by comparison.
This is the hard fight.
Since when did Foe sound like Gandalf? Well, I asked chat, what voice do you think Foe would have? Kind of a high-pitched voice? And they're like, no, the deepest voice you can do.
Therefore, Foe has the deep manly voice. Foe.
どれにしようかこういうこともできる古きルーン藤こういうこともできる
Morgan Freeman, but down an octave. That's right. I have reprised my role as Foe. I am a small, cute, furry animal watching over humanity's exploits.
Hi, Benkyo. It looks like a true ancestor definitely melts. Boy, does a true ancestor melt. Honore. Well, that did way less damage than I was hoping. Ah, yes, the last 5 turns. Well, alright, say goodbye to Consort Yu, she's gone. And with her being gone... Thinking emoji. You know what? Why kill her like that when instead I could just use cards? Do I not get any copyright issues with game music? With this game music, not so far. Most game music, not so far. Will we have enough damage? That's the question. That's the question on everyone's mind. Do we have enough? Because it's not like Scotty is a bastion of damage. Do we greed? We greed.
なんだと
Greed, 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 greed.
どうかなどう
Oh, that's about right. I think it's partially because of a lack of lyrics. I know for a fact if you play the end theme songs and stuff for Fake Go, you will get copyright stricken for realsies. Alright, let's set up for next turn.
身も心も生きていた痕跡さえも溶かしてある。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。サラスバティ。
And most copyright strikes are coming from Western companies more than Eastern. Oh, also, I don't think that Japan knows Twitch exists all that much. Oh, this is beautiful. We need to save that. But I'm pretty sure we've got that on lock. Well, Nintendo does, yeah. Bye, Georgie. Thanks for the help, Georgie. I appreciate it. Where are my melt cards? Re! I have no face and I must re.
バーニャ突撃します。ここで確実に。
大事なし。We're gonna do this.
あら、怖い怖い。
Unseal Mash. Mash, it's time for you to fulfill your ultimate purpose in life. That's not a crit star gather, is it? Nope. Good.
命令と。はい。やればいいんでしょ。ささやかに。
Big damage.
照準。捉えました。
Yo, nice crit mash. That was actually big damage.
その通りだ。我は覇王にあらず。ただ歴史を開くための時の歯車。ゆえに阻めば
私が
蹴散らすのみぞ。
内熱衝撃板装填します。ごめんなさい。どれにしようかな。命令とな。 さやかな
大事なし
トランプ。
大事なし大事なししかりしゃーしゃー
Well, look, Chad, it would appear
ぶち抜いてあげる。
even big cybernetic horsemen can be melted.
そう切り刻むわ。邪魔者にはそろそろご退場願おうかしら。消えなさいサラスバティメルトアウト。
大事なし
Nice. That fight went way better than I thought it would, to be perfectly honest with you. We win, Zhang Yu. You may be advanced, but you are also alone. Your storms may make you invincible, but you have no rivals with which to compete. Your strength in fighting alone is what sealed your defeat. Lord Zhangyu! Qin Shi Huang must have transplanted the Fusang tree to the innermost sanctum after pulling it out of the Sage World. I am Mordred, the damned Knight of Treachery. If you think you read my future, then I'll just rebel against that shit, too. Hey, Yu-chan! What are you trying to pull here? Why haven't you removed Miles' disguise yet? What possible reason could you have to hold back now? Shut up! Just shut up! What is the meaning of this? Qin Shi Huang? Of all the times for the Emperor to show up! How did you get to our treasury in the short time we were absent? We must have taken longer to reboot than we realized. That is vexing. Oh no. If the Emperor is here, then Jin Kei must be... Now how are things going to go? If Qin Shi Huang reconciles with Claudio, I'll be right back to square one. Well, there was never much to gain from this lost belt anyway. It won't be any great loss. Yep, Hinako. If it makes you feel any better, you were absolutely right. I should honor my agreement with the foreign god and see my job through to the end. So I'll go ahead and have the Tree of Emptiness take care of Claudia right now. No, please stop! Go on then, Mile. It's time to wake up. Show this tiny lost belt what your cosmos is really made of. What? Why is the Fusang tree splitting apart?
Oh! That's a big tree.
Hey!
Oh yeah, that's a Tree of Emptiness if I ever saw one. I knew I was correct in my supposition, but I never expected anything quite like this.
Are you sure that's a tree? It's the size of a mountain. How did something that big fit inside a bunch of dried up twigs all this time?
Qinlang Yu told us that the Fusang tree was a treasure trove of hidden mystic wisdom, also known as the Tree of Life. But there are no ordinary means for such a vast amount of information to fit inside a single tree. That tree from the Sage World must either contain some sort of independent dimension, or... Just shut up and get back! The spatial inconsistency is trying to correct itself and it's warping gravity all around it. The Tree of Emptiness has been slurping up plenty of magical energy from inside the Fusang Tree's pocket dimension. It didn't even have to reveal itself out here to extend its roots throughout all of China's ley lines.
The Fusang Tree. The divine tree that sits at the heart of our empire. All this time it was being co-opted by invaders. The Tree of Emptiness. So that impossible mythology does exist. Then, does that mean Akata and the Foxwoman were telling the truth all along?
Of course. This world was pruned away, and the one the colonians belong to is in fact proper human history. The nations you brought together, your visions of everlasting peace, none of it was meant to exist. Your entire history for the last 2,200 years was never more than a pipe dream. So, how does that make you feel? Sad? Dejected? Utterly crushed with abject despair?
Do not be ridiculous. This is wonderful news.
Huh?
Thanks to our greatness, our eternal empire exists right here, right now. After all, dreamers cannot distinguish between dreams and reality. For them, they are one and the same. So if the world is about to dream again, who can say if your corrupt, ruined society or our prosperous world is the one that truly exists?
Oh, I get it. Like whether I'm a Lubu who thinks he's a red hare or a red hare who thinks he's a Lubu. When you get right down to it, it doesn't really matter.
Would you just shut up, horse? We're trying to have a serious conversation here.
No way! Qin Huang's self-esteem is off the charts. I swear, this is exactly why I hate you so much. You are the ideal human, aren't you? Well, obviously. Qin Huang's been an emperor for over 2,200 years, remember? He's probably overcome all sorts of things in that time. He's practically impervious to despair at this point.
Very well then. The victor here will determine the true history. No matter how many other branches there are, we will prune them all away.
Oh, now I see. So this is what you were afraid of, huh, Yu-chan? You knew that Qin Huang would get fired up once it was clear the pruning theoretical phenomenon was true. So you decided to keep the Tree of Emptiness secret until the very last moment.
Is that so? You thought this through, and we certainly fell for it.
You knew it was pointless to lie to an omniscient, omnipotent ruler. So instead, you were perfectly honest about it all, knowing Qin Huang would never believe a word. By hiding the evidence that would validate your story, you were able to turn fact into fiction. You must have really, really wanted to prevent Qin Huang from learning the truth. But why? Why were you so desperate to keep Qin Huang from acting?
Oh. You really are hopelessly foolish, Akata. You would go that far to avoid war, You knew we would employ Zhang Yu in the war to be recorded as this planet's rightful history. So you wasted your time delaying the inevitable. To think you would choose such small comfort even in the face of certain destruction. So this is the nadir foolishness to which love has driven you.
Is it just me, or...
Yes, it is descending swiftly.
Naturally, I will not be taking your foolish, selfish wishes into consideration. This will be a battle for the future of humanity. Those of you who are not human can stay out of it.
Oh! Damn it, I knew this jackass was gonna fall on us. Which one of you dumbasses said this wouldn't happen, huh?
Oh! Oh!
Oh, damn it, this is what I have to deal with now that the king knows the truth about Lostbelt? Yu-chan refuses to help. Qin Huang's out of control. There's clearly nothing to be gained here anymore. I'm out of here. I'm going back to the office.
Peace. Hey, she got away.
Whoa! Whoa!
Forget her! We've all got to get out of here!
Maya, the Tree of Emptiness, was it? We shall grant you our protection. We shall descend from on high, the most powerful guardian ever to exist. Hang on, where exactly is it going to land?
What in the...
Awaken Palace has fallen. Is everyone alright? I thought for sure the Emperor was going to fall right on top of us. Did Qin Shi Huang just miss?
Such foolish notions hardly deserve to be given voice. We acted only out of generosity. Guardians of proper human history, we are about to enter into contest as to which of us is truly embodies what it is to be human, as well as over the direction in which mankind should proceed. Settling this dispute simply by making use of our mass would resolve nothing. So rather than destroy us in order to protect the Empire, you want to converse with us about who should have the right to determine the future?
Why would you make that kind of concession now?
You need ask. We are the Emperor. We care first and foremost about humanity's future. We must, grudgingly, admit that our empire was indeed pruned away from history. However, we cannot ignore that proper human history was so weak as to be so easily wiped out even as you advance the chronicle theoretical phenomenon. History is woven together through human will. Its course is no mere coincidence. Thus, the one who leads the chronicle theoretical phenomenon must be the stronger, superior human.
Someone's coming out of Awaken Palace. Is that a person?
It is. The ultimate human form. It has overcome death, transcended yin and yang, and reached the truth of immortality. This is the only Genren in existence. This is Qin.
A human form?
But I thought the Emperor was a giant machine, like in those movies about interstellar warfare.
That isn't the only surprise. That spirit origin is less strong than it is great. In proper human history, it would be ranked grand. So then why is the Emperor a ruler? We grew this body by applying the eclosion ascension method we learned by analyzing the Fusang tree. To the physiological data we collected from Okuta Hinako. We had not planned on actually using it, but our discussion with Jin Kei changed our mind. If we are to prove our path for humanity is superior to proper human histories, then we must do so in a human body. Your path for humanity? Should humanity prioritize safety and stagnancy, or growth which is inextricably entangled with risk? The question of which humanity is best suited to lead Earth from the chronicle theoretical phenomenon can no longer be decided with words alone. Thus, we will decide this matter by punching you! We shall also permit you to punch us in return. Whomever remains standing in the end shall be the one entrusted with the hopes of the future.
The hopes of the future?
Fo. We are the ultimate human. There is only one of us. Whereas you, Gouda, are but one of many humans from your world. Whichever one of us is stronger shall be the one to face Earth's next great challenge. We trust you agree there can be no fairer way to settle our dispute.
Well, how about that? You're a damn sight more reasonable than I gave you credit for.
Putting aside that Qin Shi Huang only came to this because both sides refused to consider the other's position, I quite agree that we should accept this offer. There can be no better way to determine who is more fit for these chaotic times. This is how contests of power should happen.
Master.
So we're not fighting in hatred, but to show the strength of our conviction. Well, we can't back down from that now, can we?
Right. As members of the Caldia Security Organization. No. As humans representing our own world and history, we agree to your terms, Chin.
Good! With that firm gaze and fighting spirit, you should make a foe well worth crushing with these two hands. Now, come at us with all your might, members of humanity's masses. We shall test you ourselves. Alright, Mothman. Let's do this. Who do you think is stronger, chat? Mothman? Or a witch?
ちょうどいいわ。着替えたことだし、血祭りにしてあげる。
Do you think you can defeat the witch?
この辺りいじった方がいいんじゃないか。
ではこうしよ
う。お望みのままに。
いいのね。
何？サービスだと思う。
上等よ。
無粋な。これを
Oh, that was a mistake, sir.
これを賜す。
Boy, was that a mistake, giving Jalter her NP. The biggest mistake you could possibly make. Although we could set up Merlin's NP, and that sounds nice. We shall grant you one more turn. He likes to speak in the royal we. We can speak in the royal we too, chat. Let there be no mistake. You are going to die here, Chin. Boy, are you going to die.
燃えないかしら。ええ、はい。これは憎悪によって磨かれた我が魂の宝庫、ラグロンドメント・デュヘイン。
いい加減にせんか。
吹っ飛べ。
無粋な。無粋な。
Take that, Lelouch. For those wondering, the voice actor for Qin Shi Huang
そうきたか。
is Jun Fukuyama, who voiced Lelouch in Code Geass.
天と地の狭間にて人はかくあるべしとここに新たなるノリを敷く。
No effect, idiot!
これを賜す。
You fool!
無粋な。
I removed your ability to buff. You fool! バ
ゴージャ
カ!
スに。
何事もやればできるさ。
Well, as much as I would love to just have Jalter or Merlin use his NP, one crit from Jalter and he is going to lose a health bar. That seems worth it.
いいね。吹っ飛べ。
無粋な。
Oh boy, they both crit. So this is the resolve of humanity. Holy shit, it hurts. It burns. Oh, my buffs.
参考を超越しご帝を凌駕せし
Forgot about that whole buff removal on his break bar.
すなわち陳である。
Oh, there it is. That's unfortunate.
あとはま
Ooh, that hurts. Here, beat George up for a little bit.
行くぞ。
That critical up is brutal.
これでどうかな。
I permit you to beat George up a little bit. It's fine. One HP is all we need.
燃えないかしらこの服。ええ、はい。これは憎悪によって磨かれた我が魂の方
Don't me, chat.
ラグロンドメントデュヘイ
You act like he's going to not take damage. You fools.
なめんな。
無粋な、無粋な。
ここが
You
あんたの終わりよ。
fools!
無粋な。
You think me to be someone who doesn't know how to get around invulnerability?
バイ
Please.
クで引きずり回してやるわ。
She's the only not max spawn level unit I brought. Yes. How's it feel to learn that your humanity was a mistake all this time? Was that... Has our knee truly touched the ground first? It did. Are you convinced now, Your Imperial Majesty? You went out of your way to fight us as a human, even knowing that we had no chance in battle against your mechanical vessel. You have borne a vast responsibility all these years, and for that you have my respect. But the results speak for themselves. Even as a Genren, you chose to prioritize defense. But defense is a role for gods, not humans. Humans' nature lies in pressing ever onward, no matter how foolish it may be to do so or how disgraceful the results may be. Yes, we can express only our genuine shock. Tell us, Gouda, in your world are all people, no, all humans, as strong as you? Well, I don't know, but I do know this. Whoever else might have come to fight you instead wouldn't have had to do it alone either. These heroic spirits would have helped whoever happened to be here. I'm not sure, Gouda. I mean, our world's pretty well stocked with dumbasses. Still, I guess I could be bothered to help out if there was someone even half as freaking stupid as you trying to handle this. Oh yes, I'd be even more inclined to trust someone like that, being a horse and all. We see. So even if you had fallen, you have every conviction that someone else would come to take your place. Foe! Foe! If all of you are possessed of such resilience, and the will to endure life's tribulations, then perhaps humans may indeed be able to overcome any obstacle in their path toward a future with limitless possibilities. Yes, that's what we believe too, along with someone else who helped us come this far. Very well. We will take that bet. We leave the future of the Chronicle theoretical phenomenon in proper human history's hands. See that it flourishes under your care. That last part might be kinda tough, but I'll do my best.
No. No, I do not accept that.
Huh? General Zhang Yu?
Even if that is what the humans have agreed upon, I cannot accept it.
You would defy our decree, Kwai G0.
You are my lord no longer, your Imperial Majesty. My only loyalty now is to my companion, Yu Mei-ren.
Lord Zhang Yu?
You, my beloved. You, my beloved has chosen this Lostbelt as her home. She has wandered far too long in search of peace. And now at long last she has found it. I cannot take that away from her.
You have got to be freaking shitting me! He wants to go another round. Please stop this madness. Your body needs maintenance. You are in no shape to fight again. Please. Lord Changyu, you mustn't. You're already at your limit. There's no way you can win.
It is all right. This body of mine can still move, so I will not let them cut down the Tree of Emptiness. Your future, my first and final prayer, can only exist beyond its branches.
Changyu is preparing for battle again, Master.
The Changyu from proper human history died plagued by regrets. Now I will see his wishes fulfilled. Just this once. I will fight not for the Empire, but for the woman I love. Now behold, what Changyu can do when he is pushed to his absolute limit.
This is a sad fight. Our poor horsey. Decrease defense, decrease HP at the end of each turn. Decrease charge by 1 at the end of each turn. Our poor horsey has some broken legs and we need to take him to the glue factory now. You can't even NP. This isn't supposed to be a hard fight. This is supposed to be a sad fight. Goodbye, Changyu. It's time to melt you into glue.
身も心も生きていた痕跡さえも溶かしてあげる。行くわよ行くわよ行くわよ行くわよ行くわよ。サラスバティメルトアウト。
大事なし。
これで終わり？出直して。
Bye bye, horseman.
Alas, I could not make my wish come true.
Lord Changyu!
Forgive me, you. Once again, my failure condemns you to an eternity wandering alone. I wanted nothing more than to grant you solace. I wish we could have spent endless days together in peace. However, my functionality could not make that dream a reality. So this is what it feels to have regret gnawing at you in your final moments.
Lord Changyu,
You, my companion, I am sorry. I cannot stay by your side. You, my you, what will your fate be?
Female scream. I can't do female screams, I'm sorry.
Lord Changyu! Lord Changyu! Lord Changyu!
La 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 la. Eh?
Thank you for the follow. Akuta. Don't mash. No one can console her now. I don't think any human Any being fated to die, really, could understand her pain right now. This is what it means to live for all of time.
Foe.
Claudia, Qin Shi Huang, proper human history. Do you think this is over? Do you think your path forward is clear now?
What are you doing, Fairy? After all that has come to pass, you would still try to stop Caldia.
The future of mankind has never meant anything to me. I never cared who got pruned away or who got to carry on the Chronicle. But now you humans, you loathsome, despicable, disgusting humans, are all I can think about. Her spirit origin is dispersing. What's going on?
I knew that true ancestors were essentially elementals, but is she truly abandoning her incarnated body?
Wait, the Tree of Emptiness's magical energy is absolutely skyrocketing. I think it's absorbing her spirit origin.
True sages and fairies like her have always been something akin to a divided spirit of the Fusang tree. So if this Tree of Emptiness fed off the Fusang tree to manifest here, she may be able to possess it.
You humans don't deserve a future. I won't allow it. Not after how you've gotten as far as you have by feeding on the dreams and despair of non-humans everywhere. The Tree of Emptiness's magical energy is entering an active state. Looks like it's finally woken up, and it's about to come at us. Damn it, we don't have time to just stand here with our thumbs up our asses. Get ready, Kuda. This is it, it's do or die time.
If that thing would curse all of mankind, then it is our enemy as well.
Qin Shi Huang?
Does that mean you'll help us? You may have been strong enough to defeat us, but this is still our territory. What's more, the fairy has shown great impertinence in taking our Fusang tree. We will therefore gladly lend our aid in battle.
Die! Die! I'll wipe you from existence! All of my hatred, all of my curses, all my fury shall power the Tree of Emptiness. Hear me, Mile! Hear me, my origin! Ruins of the lost Fusang tree! Use your jagged canopy to skewer humanity's last hope for their future! Master, look out!
Thanks, Mash.
The internal temperature of the Tree of Emptiness is rising rapidly. I'm detecting gravitational shifts creating fault lines in space-time. I'm also detecting gamma rays. They appear to be cosmic in origin. Mash, patch me in with Orthonaut's sensor data. Wait, what? What is this? Is this fake? Miniature? Connected to the real thing? Oh, to hell with it. There's only one thing I can say for sure. It's a galaxy. There's a real, actual galaxy inside the Tree of Emptiness.
You mean like a galaxy? Indeed. Unlike those of Russia and Scandinavia, this Tree of Emptiness has fully blossomed. People have said that the hollows of great trees connect to other worlds ever since the Age of Myth. This one contains a galaxy, and one we know at that. Sadly, I cannot yet say what the greater significance of that may be. Any analysis will have to wait. That tree is directing all its energy straight at us. Be ready to continue fighting, Gouda. That thing cannot be allowed to remain on this planet. Got it. Let's do this, Mash.
Yes, Master. We'll target the Tree of Emptiness's heat source 5,000 meters above the ground. It's time to complete Order Lostbelt number 3. Our last battle in the Chinese Lostbelt.
It's time to kill many people. It's time to kill an entire reality. Oh yeah, banging music. My purple-haired goddesses will be more than this tree can possibly handle. All right, it has quick resistance. I forgot about that. I believe that goes away after the first break bar, so it's fine.
こういうこともできる古きルーンよ。どれにしようかな古きルーンよ。こういうこともできる。
Seriously, this song is a bop.
あら、怖い怖い。ぶち抜いてあげる。貫いてあげる。
All right, let's begin cutting down this tree, shall we?
命令とやればいいんでしょ。
Let's make Bunyan proud.
身も心も生きていた痕跡さえも溶かしてあげる。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。サラスバティメルトアウト。
More than enough damage.
ささやかにトランプ。
My MP. Don't curse Melt. How dare? How dare?
どれにしようかな。やればいいんでしょ。命令とな。切り刻むの。トランプ。もろいもろい。楽しみましょう。
Darn. If that crit, it would have broke the bar easily.
So, yeah. 身も心も生きていた痕跡さえも溶かしてあげる。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。行くわよ。サラスバティメルトアウト。
You can't stop Melt, Big Tree. She's coming.
楽しみましょう。アンドゥトロワルツエトワール。
Ikuwaya. My NP. Now. Your critical damage up is showing.
命令とな。切り刻むわ。ささやかに。アンドゥ楽しみましょう。
Unfortunately, Melt is gonna die.
やる。
Rip. Don't worry, level 1 Shon is here. She's got this. Oh, and of course, she gets all the cards. Well done, game. Hilarious. First, you give me no Melt cards to work with early on, and then make sure level 1 Shon gets all the cards when she shows up. Good old ThorW luck, TM. Crit the shit out of her. Holy shit. Look at that. It's okay, we've got Sanzong here.
撃版装填します。本気出しちゃうんだから。
I should have waited till next turn. That buff doesn't last for long.
バンカーボルトリロード。
Give him the big buff, Mash. The big buster.
照準捉えました。
Ow. Hey! Cheating. 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 Can't steal my NP like that. Rude. Also, yeah, it has double buster resist. I forgot about that. To be fair, I wasn't planning on the fight going past Melt, but bad RNG on cards kind of fucked me. Yeah, you can go ahead and work on killing Mash. I don't mind. No biggie. Behold the Buddha's palm.
御仏の加護見せてあげる。へい五行さん釈迦如来賞。へい
We're gonna need more of those.
オルテナウス。
That damned curse is doing so much damage.
それでいいんだ。へい別々敵面。
Now, as long as we don't get insanely unlucky. GG, tree. Prepare to get slapped.
それ
Behold the power of Buddha. The power of Chinese monks with huge titties.
へい五行さん釈迦如来賞。
You ever just bitch slap a giant tree to death?
やったー。悟空がいなくたって勝てるもんね。
Thank you for the 500 biddies, Anonymous. Smash. And more of that.
Its magical energy signal is fading. We did it. But Akuta is... He knew. He knew this would happen. His grief was because he knew I would be consumed by rage and disappear as a vengeful ghost. How foolish I've been. To think I brought him such sadness not once, but twice.
That is your only regret. Why, it could not be simpler to put an end to Zhang Yu's grief.
Huh?
Zhang Yu's grief was over how you would spend your final moments. If you wish to end that grief, you need only choose an end for yourself that would let him rejoice rather than despair.
What?
Become a heroic spirit. As an elemental, surely such a choice is within your power. Joining the counterforce should be trivial. Is that really how it works?
I mean, I know Gouda has formed contracts with Divine Spirit class beings before, but... You would have me become a pawn of the counterforce? You would have me protect the very humans I despise more than anything?
We are sure the idea holds little appeal to you. But it was dedicating his life to doing so that gave Zhang Yu such pride. If you were to carry on in his stead, he would surely have no more reason to lament your fate. So you are still not fully convinced? Then consider this. You are the only one in all of your history to know the truth about Zhang Yu, are you not? Should you bring your knowledge of him to the throne so he may also be appointed one of humanity's guardians? Should that come to pass, you may one day have a chance to see him again. Well, whatever you choose, there is no need to decide right now. There is no reason not to take some time to wander the mountains as you think it over. I'm impressed you were able to talk down a vengeful ghost. We are the Emperor. Guiding our people with the light of reason has long been our duty. If you had only wanted to protect this world, you could have chosen to join forces with Yu Meiren and defended the Tree of Emptiness together. Just the sort of underhanded trickery we would expect from a tactician. Had she revealed the Tree of Emptiness to us sooner, we might have done so. But we had already decided to abdicate in favor of Gouda, and we were not about to change our mind. If there's no further need for a tactician, then it would seem my work here is done. Agreed. Where you find war, you can also find tacticians. But if there's no more war here, then I'd best be on my way as well. Lord Gouda, I am sure we will one day meet again on a new field of battle. Next time, I won't bother to test how strong you are. I will know you to be the master worth following from the very start. As for me, I'd really appreciate if you could summon me by name next time. It's a bit weird not being quite sure who you are. We do know, though. As I have repeatedly told you, you are red hair. Aw, come on, really? I don't know if I buy that. Time to summon Chengong and immediately sacrifice the horse.
Oh yeah, I guess it's time for everyone to be heading back to the throne, huh? Hey, we'll stick around till you leave the Lostbelt. You did summon us inside the Shadow Border after all. I see. I am very happy, Red One. We can stay together a little bit longer. Still, if the heroic spirits this world summoned are already gone, that must mean... The world won't be around for much longer. That is nothing you need concern yourselves with. Though, from the looks on your faces, we suppose you humans from proper human history cannot put your feelings aside so easily. Well, we can assure you that there will be no weeping or lamentation of the sort that you were worried about. Our people do not fear either death or oblivion. Indeed, they cannot even comprehend fear or despair. That is how we have raised them. They will spend today just as they have every other day, knowing neither grief nor regret. Even when the day of destruction arrives, they will simply fade away as easily as falling asleep. That is the paradise on earth we have created. That is the world we made for our beloved people. Got it. The storm clouds have disappeared. That takes care of the chronicle theoretical phenomenon overlap. Oh ho, that is excellent news. Then our territory has finally become whole again. We shall immediately connect to our Great Wall to see how our lands are faring. Well done, Kaldea. Now, we assume you have your own urgent business to attend to. Qinshi Huang. Go on then, humanity's next crisis awaits. Do not forget your responsibility, no matter how heavy the burden. Huh?
What's this? Delivered 1 dosage of Fusang Tree Antidote. Sender NFF Services Customer Support. No signature required. All sales and transactions final.
Huh? Koyanskaya snuck into the shadow border? When? How?
It must have been while we were preoccupied with our battle against the Tree of Emptiness. Admittedly, I didn't think our security was so lax that she would be able to gain entry that quickly.
We did let her aboard after we recovered the border at the Ministry of Technology. Do you think she tampered with security while we weren't looking? Ugh, great. Just great. Now we have even more stuff to check before we start our next Zero sale. There's no telling what she might have messed with while she was here.
I don't think we need to worry. Yes, she could have sabotaged the border in any number of ways while she was in here. But all she left behind was the antidote. I imagine this was her way of keeping her word. I'm certain we can assume the antidote to be safe as well. If nothing else, she seems to be quite serious about abiding by her contracts. Alright then, here goes nothing. Well, of course she is. Gods always have to keep contracts.
Senpai, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think it worked. I think I feel a little better.
There we go, you see, I told you there was nothing to worry about, and I was right.
Yeah, okay. I can understand Gordy being excited about this. Now, if he could just be a little less oblivious, he'd be a much better director.
Ah, what's the harm? The important thing is that we're all okay.
Yes, that's true, isn't it?
Why the long face, Mash? Something else on your mind?
We just destroyed another world.
Oh, yes. That.
I understand that...
Oh, we're dropping frames. I understand we're dropping frames. 1 sec. Sorry about this. It's Comcasting us. These are real Comcast hours. Oh, come on, we're right at the end. Let me finish, Comcast. Shit lords. All right. I think we're okay now.
I understand that dead-end histories without any possibility for future growth are destined to be pruned away. I understand that the Russian and Scandinavian Lost Belts were exceptionally harsh environments for mankind too. But this Lost Belt was... yeah, it was peaceful. If we hadn't stuck our noses in, I doubt anyone here would have ever realized they were unhappy. But, you know, peace that becomes stagnation is its own kind of dead end. That was ultimately why this history had to be pruned away.
Oh my god, Comcast is not letting this finish. It's like 10 minutes left. Come on. Stop. Fucking Comcast.
I know, that's the only conclusion I can come to as well after seeing how it ended up. But then I remembered what Qinlang Yu told us, how the warriors of the Empire fought so hard to create this perfect everlasting peace. And then I can't help but think... What if one day everything we fought so hard to achieve turns out to be for nothing too? I can't say that's impossible. The pruning theoretical phenomenon isn't driven by malice or error, it just happens. We're not immune either. No matter how hard we fight for what we believe in, there's always a chance some other branch more worthy of being called proper human history could leave us behind. If that ever happens, I only hope we have the same grace and bravery to pass on the torch that Qin Shi Huang did.
People are fond of saying the possibilities are endless, as though it were inherently good, failing to realize the full implications. Possibilities may be endless, but outcomes are anything but. And that massive diversity of choices only adds to the pressure of the inevitable culling.
It's a hard problem. A very, very hard problem. Sometimes I wonder, how wise do we need to be before we can know for sure what's right?
If we ever reach that point, it will only be after we cease being human and instead become as gods. As long as humans remain human, our only hope is to keep grasping for the truth as best we can from among the vast sea of endless possibilities.
Ahem! This is the Wandering Sea Cardia base. I have confirmed that the storm wall around the Chinese Lost Belt is gone. I should be able to reach you via comms now. Do you read me?
It's Shion!
Everybody clap. Excellent! That's what I like to hear. And from the tone of Guda's lovely voice, it sounds like you completed your mission handily. Great work, everyone! Now, I bet you could all use a nice hot shower, correct? Then I suggest you head west about 10 kilometers from your current position. Captain's on his way now. Once you meet up with him, you can zero sail over to the Wandering Sea before the other cryptors spot you.
Oh, I would certainly love a good victory massage, but are you sure we can make it back so easily?
Of course! Now that the Lost Belt's gravitational field has collapsed, my calculations and Captain's nav skills will have you back here before you know it. Oh, but keep in mind that this method is strictly for getting between places that exist in this world. I can get you to the entry point of a Lost Belt and back, but I cannot get you in. Think of this as the world's most advanced airport shuttle.
Fine by me. Honestly, I was worried we were gonna have to drive all the way back from here.
Oh, no, we would never make you waste your time on that. Especially not when you already have another order waiting.
Huh? Another one?
What do you mean, Shion? Are we moving up our plans to invade the Atlantic Lost Belt? Definitely not. In fact, that's not even possible at this point. As they say, haste makes waste. Clothes make the man, and sparing the rod spoils the child. I know now that this next part is essential to our larger plan. Once you're all rested up, I'm gonna have you head out to your next order, Lost Belt number 4, where you will investigate a strange Lost Belt that has been repeatedly expanding and contracting. Moreover, the captain will be joining in on your adventure in a dazzling realm of Indian mythology.
Hey, are you sure it's okay to leave the cave?
Well, that nice doctor in the white outfit said we should be fine by now.
There was a real strange air about them, wasn't there? Kinda reminded me of those Chaldea people.
I start a song, and the moon begins to reel. I rise and dance, and the shadow moves grotesquely. While I am still conscious, let us rejoice with one another. After I am drunk, let each one go his way.
Oh, a poem extolling the beauty of the moon. How lovely.
Yeah, poems are great, aren't they? That one always makes me feel like I'm gazing up at the moon no matter where I am.
Now that I think of it, all the poems we ever heard in Shenyang were about us. Of course, we were perfectly happy with that at the time. But still, would it have been so terrible to have someone regale us with a tale of the moon?
Say, who are you? I don't recognize you.
We are the Emperor.
The Emperor? No way! I heard the Emperor lives up in the sky and is always watching over us from above. But you're the same height as us, and you're here on the ground with us.
Indeed, we walk the same land and gaze up at the same heavens. We decided to spend our final moments with our people. We are, after all, human, just like all of you.
Sober still, let us rejoice with one another. Once drunk, let each go his own way. Let us be bound forever to carefree journeying. Let us swear to meet again beyond this Milky Way.
And with that, despite a couple hiccups, especially with Comcast, which is still dropping frames, because of course it is, we have defeated Lostbelt number 3. The Crimson Beauty under the moon. Cosmos denied. And it's time for the very last thing there. The Phoenix alights. Take a good look at the ones who are leaving. They are shouldering the duty that is the future, and their paths will lead them to confront even more treacherous challenges. Yet the only thing we can do is to see them off from afar. Ah, but do not worry. We will not be giving you any trials like the ones they will be facing. Instead, you shall join us in a delicate slumber bereft of fear and despair over your fate. This is a scene of what will soon become a dream. The ruler who once tried to shoulder humanity alone has now entrusted and tasked the heavy responsibility of 2,000 years of history to a group of foreign travelers. Now all that there is to do is to wait for the peaceful end to come with the citizens that they loved. And with that, we have completed Lostbelt 3 entirely. I hope you enjoyed the voice acting and all that for Lostbelt 3, everybody. Next will be Lostbelt number 4, the Samsara of Genesis and Terminus, Yuga Kurukshetra. I hope you're excited for that. Only like 6 months until it starts. Look forward to it, everyone.